So let me see if I can. And I'll, and as a conservative, certainly thank you for your support. That doesn't go unnoticed. I do want to thank you for all the support and all you do for the show. So thank you. I think we're good. Okay, so we're live on all platforms. We'll go ahead and make that happen. Substack, TikTok, Clapper, Instagram, and YouTube. Good evening, folks. Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Happy Monday to you, if there is a such thing. Not a big fan of Mondays myself, but I suppose without Mondays, we can't cheer on the weekends as much. So Mondays make the weekends feel better. So there you go. So happy Monday to all you folks. I'm trying to see if I can figure out why this particular screen is not acting right on TikTok. So we'll do it. But you see what we have on the monitor behind, and we're going to be asking that question. And a good evening to you, Arnita. Welcome to the program as well. Why does Donald Trump always wear a red tie? Because it hides the ketchup stains from his Mac. I mean, he's trying to compliment the red, white, and blue. I assume that's what he's doing. He's trying to carry that out, red, white, and blue. I gotta assume this guy has a million blue blazers, red ties, and white shirts. He's got to have a million of them by now. Chances are the Secret Service probably keeps a spare with them, keeps a spare outfit with him at all times. So if he needs to change or something, it's there. But he's trying to, he's trying to maintain the patriotic colors, red, white, and blue. So there you go. In the comments, they always wear, what is that saying? They always wear Phoenician colors. Okay, I get it. Love Trump. He is doing his best, says Tim Miller. I don't know about his best. I think Trump could do better. I think, listen, I'll give you my quick spiel on this, and I know my words don't have a lot of credibility behind it because I lean left on some issues. So I understand my beloved MAGAs are not going to want to hear this shit. But I'll make it simple. If Trump had just simply tried his best to honor his campaign promises as opposed to what he's doing now, I think he would be viewed as a significantly better president. He's done a lot of things that he campaigned against doing. So he's not trying his best when it comes to his campaign promises. He's doing a lot of things that he campaigned against doing, such as spending, such as big government, such as starting wars, such as draining the swamps, such as exposing the Epstein. If he had done what he campaigned on, I think he would be probably a fairly decent president. Yeah, the left would be upset, but his poll numbers would be a lot higher because he made some really good promises and he's not keeping them. So I don't think he's doing his best. I think he veered off from what he promised, which would have been significantly better. But what we're going to be asking today is that question. Are we better off with President Trump than the likes of Biden? Are you doing better off than you were a couple years ago? Is America better off than it was a couple years ago? That's what we're going to be asking. In the comments, Dorothy says making sure Iran has no nuclear weapons. Well, the problem is you got members of his own administration, that being Tulsi Gabbard, at the time being the head of the intelligence agencies, saying that Iran was not developing a nuclear weapon. Trump still has not explained that yet. Why did she say that? Why did the head of the NSA say that nobody's developing a bomb right now? And President Trump at the time responded, well, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Well, then, if the head of your intelligence agency doesn't know what she's talking about, then who are you getting it from? That has yet to be explained. And why didn't you fire her? If her job is to protect us by providing us with valuable intelligence, and she's telling us something that is completely wrong, that potentially exposes us to a nuclear attack, why didn't you do something about it? Why didn't you have Tulsi Gabbard demoted, taken off, fired? He didn't do anything to her. He left it up to her to resign. So that's a major problem. That's a major problem. And like I said, Trump has not explained that yet. So I don't just buy into the notion that he's protecting us from getting a nuclear bomb, because he needs to explain, then why didn't you fire her? Marty Marr, thank you for the hat and a mustache. Appreciate that. Hey, Tim says, Stevie D, who's the number one oil supplier for the world now? I'll wait. Yeah, you can wait. I don't know exactly who the number one supplier is. I know our reserves are running low. Who is the number one supplier of oil? You're saying the USA is the number one supplier of oil to the entire world? I have not heard that. Okay, I'll take your word for it though. Alexa, who is the number one supplier of oil in the world?
The United States is the world's
There you go.
about 13.6 million barrels per day in 2026, which outpaces Saudi Arabia and Russia.
There you go. Alexa agrees with you. Stevie D, thank you very much. I don't agree with the chestnut checkers part, though. Alexa, stop. I don't agree with the chestnut checkers part. I don't believe that. You think Trump is, I don't know. I guess I'd have to ask, in what area of running this great nation is he playing chess on? Because I don't look at the economy and see a chess game going on. I don't look at the Iran war and see a chess game going on. I'm listening to President Trump himself and things he is saying that are not culminating into reality. So I'm going to be asking that question: are we better off than we were 2 years ago? Are we better off under President Trump than we were under President Biden? I'll give you a quick example. You guys know how the program is ran. And by the way, tap the screen, get us up to 10,000. We'll certainly start taking callers momentarily. But in regards to some of this, I do want to give you a clip that I think this is Trump. What is this? This is the 7th month. So this is Trump 5 months ago. 5 months ago.
My administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%.
Five months ago.
Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, 85 cents a gallon for gasoline.
Now, I don't hear any. I know Stevie D, you said he's playing chess, not checkers. I'm not hearing any checkmate in any of this shit. And this is only 5 months ago.
Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year.
Totally close to being true now. You're not going to find gasoline at $1.98 a gallon anywhere within range of the American flag. Nowhere. I mean, you'd be lucky if you could damn near. Same thing with inflation. Same thing with because here he is announcing a whole bunch of great accomplishments that have all faded away. So I'm asking that question once again, though. Do you think we're better off with President Trump than we would have been perhaps a couple years ago? And I'm sure you remember this one.
You win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President.
Do you feel like you're winning? July 2026, do you feel like a winner right now? 3 more military personnel in Iran, and Trump is responding, well, we're going to hit him again and make him pay tonight. Do you feel like we're winning? That's what he stated. You're going to get tired of winning. Have you gotten a better question? Are you currently tired of winning right now? 2 years, almost 2 years into President Trump's second term. Do you currently feel exhausted from all the victories? We're going to talk about that. In addition to asking, are we better off than we were? I want to get into some speculation with you folks. Obviously, the Iran war is in full swing. Despite Trump saying it was going to be over in 2 to 4 weeks, despite Trump saying we won the war in the first few hours, despite President Trump saying we can do anything we want to do and there's nothing they can do about it, their navy's at the bottom of the sea, they can't touch us. In somewhat light of MC Hammer's song, can't touch this. Yet they've shot down some aircraft and they have officially killed some people. 18 far. So what I want to ask you folks is, how do you believe the war is going to turn out? Do you think history is going to judge us as winning this war? You know, Vietnam, they look back and say we lost that war. Some wars, they look back and say we won. Some wars, they look back and say we lost. How do you think history is going to judge this current war with Iran? Because there are objectives that need to be met. Now, we can certainly go into whether or not they're allowed to develop a nuclear bomb, which I believe is the primary objective for the war with Iran. We don't want them to develop a nuclear bomb. But make no mistake about it, President Trump gave additional objectives. That wasn't the only reason we were going over there, is to prevent them from developing a bomb. Trump also stated that protesters were being slaughtered and that had to stop. That has not stopped. He also stated that we had to get regime change and we wanted someone in there that America had say-so over. That has not happened. And in fact, those last two objectives, they're not even on the table anymore. You don't hear Trump talking about saving Iranian protesters at all anymore. That's not even being mentioned. Kind of like the going into Venezuela to stop the production of fentanyl. You don't hear Trump talking about fentanyl at all anymore. It's not even being discussed. So, that's the question, is how will history judge our involvement in Iran? And last but not least, this is something being floated all over the Trump administration, all over right-wing circles, and it could be a concern. So I want to hear from you folks, if you are genuinely concerned with this perceived problem being a major issue here in this great nation. President Trump and many on the right are this nation. Communist nation. So we're going to be taken over by communism. That's what Trump is stating. I want to ask you folks, do you fear the potential or the possibility of that happening? Do you see us down a dark path of becoming a communist nation, overran by communism? Because this is what they are saying all over the place. President Trump painted a pretty dark picture of this, suggesting that churches are going to be closed, people are going to be killed. Really, really dark picture of this. Do you actually fear what Trump has stated as coming to reality? Communism in America. And I guess as a side note, I would ask you, why are people, if this is the case, if what Trump is saying is true, that we're starting to head down a dark road of communism, simple question, why are people turning away from, we've been known as a capitalist country ever since the very beginning. If people are turning to communism, as Trump and many on the right are saying, why are they turning away from? Because that's the system we've always come to know and love. So I want to hear from you folks as always. Certainly tap the screen, get us up to 10,000 in the like category. We'll start taking callers. You guys know how the program is ran. It's been ran the same way it always will be ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. We're all about free speech. Always have been, always will. We are MAGA friendly. Just because your politics leans left or right, we don't censor or limit your time or your comments because you have a different political opinion. It's all about free speech here. In fact, we don't have a moderator here. So some of you folks, occasionally we get somebody in the comments, well, your moderators took my comment down. We don't have moderators. We've never had a moderator. So there's nobody taking down your comments. Quit the bullshit. Only comment we probably would remove is people yelling, saying racial epithets over and over again or spamming. And the only reason I take the racial epithets down is because it'll trigger the apps. I don't give a shit. Say whatever the fuck you want, but it is what it is. I can't let the program get taken down because you want to be a racist online. Other than that, the spamming prevents other people from talking. Two things we take folks down. If you want to say the liberals suck or Trump sucks, we leave that up. We don't take stuff down like that. It's just that we want the program to continue And there's a couple areas like spamming and blatant racism that we have to stop. Other than that, you guys know how the program is ran. Like I said, we don't block, ban, or censor. Our comments go left of Mom Donnie till I'm having dinner with Q. So getting into the comment section, men do not go into ladies' bathrooms or dressing rooms other than Trump. Damn. When he owned the Miss USA pageant and teen pageant. Daddy bragged on Howard Stern show. He did do that. Trump did brag about going into the girls' dressing room. There's no denying he done that. So go figure. And yeah, he made it sound like he was there checking out the material inside of the pageant. I mean, that's the only reason you talked to Howard Stern about that to begin with, is you're checking out how attractive the girls are. Yes, I feel like a winner. That's what I am. That's what I do, says handsome conservative. So you feel like under Trump, you're tired of winning. I would love to know what you are winning at. So let me know in the comments there. Tap the screen, get us up to 10,000. Everyone can see what liberal progressives want, like socialism. Dorothy, explain that. We have other socialist countries on the planet. I would love to hear an explanation to what countries are we trying to turn, the Democrats, what countries are Democrat politicians trying to turn America like? Other examples of socialism. And I'm going to tell you which is going to be the number one pushback to callers I talk to. What is going to require some explaining is all the claims that Obama was trying to turn America into a socialist country. We had Obama for 8 years, and the whole time the right was saying that guy was trying to turn America into various socialist countries. That turned out to be really incredibly wrong. So I am going to point that out, that here we are a decade later with the right saying the same thing about another Democrat candidate, or this time the Democrat Party. But the right was adamant that Obama was going to turn America into a socialist country. That didn't come close to happening. Obama didn't talk about taking over businesses. All of the stuff that we say, you attribute to socialism, Obama didn't do virtually none of that stuff. He just wanted to give people health care. So here you are 10 years later trying to say new candidates are going to be turning America into socialist and communist countries after being incredibly wrong about Obama. Tim, did you hear Zohan? Yes, I did hear this, Tamar. Apparently, Mom Donnie is indicating that he might arrest Benjamin Netanyahu this fall if he comes. Trump has already said that Mom Donnie is not going to be arrested. Netanyahu won't be arrested. I don't think Mom Donnie would have the power to do that. I don't. If they surround Netanyahu with federal agents and security, the new what happened on October 7th was, basically a war crime in itself, what Hamas did. But I think even many people on the right believe that Israel went way overboard responding to that. Lots and lots of people, thousands of people that had nothing to do with the few paratroopers that went to Israel and perpetrated that mayhem. They went to the Palestinians, or Gaza is what I'm looking for. They went to Gaza and just started unaliving all kinds of people who weren't, some of the folks ain't even been born when that happened. I mean, you've had babies and shit lose their lives. You don't need to take out a whole apartment complex because you're looking for one guy. So even President Trump has indicated that Netanyahu went too far. Didn't President Trump also get caught telling Netanyahu, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, or something like that? So, yeah, he went too far. I'm going to let him be taken into custody. Let me go to the box. Facts Only says the right is always fear-mongering while actually failing the country in the process. Wow. Going straight to the box, we'll start it out with Stick Darula. Good evening, Stick. Welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. Just taking up. So are you better off than you were a couple years ago? Are you better off under Trump than Biden?
Oh, hell no. He's so coy. That's KOI. King of the Idiots.
That's a new acronym. I've never heard of that one before. What do you mean? Wait a minute. You don't listen. Trump, successful businessman in his own right, multi-millionaire before even becoming president, ever stepping into politics. How are you going to suggest this guy is an idiot?
I'm gonna say an idiot because he didn't earn anything. Only thing he did was fool the people that was dumber than him into giving him more money. ACN, the watches, the phone, the shoes. Yeah, the only thing they've ever gotten was, I believe, those hats, and I think you got a couple of them.
Well, I mean, he had Trump University, he had Trump Steaks. I mean, he got Trump golf courses. Trump has a lot of businesses.
Is Trump Steak still in business?
No, apparently the meat wasn't that good.
Okay, so how about I got one that they got. Remember when they were wearing the shirts that say "Real men wear diapers"?
No, I haven't. I heard about that. I have not seen that though.
How about the trash bag that Biden got him to wear? Like, I mean, Biden tricked him into wearing trash bags. This is the type of people that follow Trump around and believe in Trump. And if you fell for his lies, I'm sorry, Tim, I think you fall under that category too, even though you didn't vote for him. But you fell for the foolery.
I mean, listen, Trump said he could end the Ukraine-Russian war in 24 hours. Yeah, I'm going to be candid. I fell for it. I didn't think in 24 hours, but I did think he would be a much better candidate if that war was a concern and ended and saving a lot of those lives, because there's nothing but lives lost over there. I thought because of his relationship with Putin going back years, he would be the president that could get it done. I didn't think Kamala Harris had a chance in hell of getting it done. I mean, he has failed miserably at that. But you are right. I believed that Trump would be the candidate that could get that done.
So again, it's always the MAGA apology. It's always well, actually, in this case, I'm going to give a Democratic apology. I'm sorry, MAGA. Y'all told me if I voted for Ms. Harris, and I did, the gas prices would be high, that the food prices would be high, your rent would skyrocket.
I know where you're going with this. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
So I voted for Ms. Harris, and you were absolutely right. I apologize, MAGA. I will never, ever, ever doubt you again that you can understand what's going on. Okay?
Yeah, but did you hear Trump? Trump has made it clear that once we're done with the Iran war, the price of gas is going to drop like a rocket.
Okay, when are we going to be done with the war?
That's that's the $64 million question is, yeah, we don't know that part.
You see how easy it is to outmaneuver a MAGA mind? And I know you had to, give me the MAGA pushback and all of this other stuff. Well, he said this and he said that. He say a lot of shit. Yeah. However, to get it to a master size, you got to do something about it, Trump. You got to get the fuck off them suede back shoes and get to work. Stop sleeping during meetings. Listen. Don't listen to that one motherfucker way in the background talking about you can do it. Sounding like a dude on Waterboy. Don't listen.
Hold on. No, I'm going to say after Trump's first term, I didn't expect, and even though, like you said, I did not vote for Trump, but I went to a couple of Trump rallies and all that. I didn't expect him to deviate from his campaign promises as far as he has. I mean, based on what he actually promised, I don't think he would have been a bad president. All you have to do is go out there, sit in the Oval Office and try your best to do what you actually promised to do for the people. Get off the revenge, get off a 2020 election, and get off of trying to make so much fucking money. Just do what you promised. I think you would have been a great president, or you would have been a decent president.
What you just said is why people get divorced. They believe so heartedly that person loves them and would do anything for them and ain't cheating on them and would never hit them. What you just did was you thought you seen something in somebody and you projected. You just said, I know for a fact this gonna happen. He said it.
No. Well, I mean, listen.
You're not religious. However, you sound like somebody that just left church. That's what you sound like right now.
I mean, listen. I know Trump is not always honest, but you know, every politician is known to tell a lie too. It's just that Trump has told a lot of lies in excessive amount. But Trump 2.0 is not the same guy he was Trump 1.0 because he had a bunch of folks surrounding him that wouldn't let him be him. And like I said, on, most of the things he campaigned on, Stick, I don't think they were that bad for the country.
I'm gonna tell you like this. There was a scene in Malcolm X when Denzel was playing Malcolm X, right?
Okay.
And Thurch let out. And he said, "Oh, look at you. You thought it was gonna be heaven on earth when you came out here, huh?" Yeah. That's MAGA right now. They coming up out of them rallies, and you know, they're coming up out of their homes, they're looking around, they're not watching the television shows like they should, you know what I'm saying? And guess what they're doing? They're looking and seeing, this shit ain't right. And that's exactly what's going on. Now, some, not all, some, like MAGA reacts, they will fall on the sword. They will obfuscate, they will become, what was the Trump lawyer that switched and now he back on Trump dick?
Trump's lawyer that I don't know who that is.
The one that snitched on him about the Stormy Daniels, and then now.
Oh, is Michael Cohen back on Trump's side?
Oh yeah, you didn't know.
No,
See?
Really?
So,
Wow.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to do it like I did it last time. I'm gonna try to get you either in his or on yours, and you need to have a real long talk with this man.
What the hell? The reason? Why would Michael Cohen, who served prison time because Trump threw him under the bus, why would he suddenly be promoting Trump? What I mean, Trump, other than Trump maybe giving him some money, I mean, that's obviously not looking right.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to say, shouts out to my sister, Miss Straight Facts. She called it from the jump, from the time that he said that, you know, Trump this time, yeah, it's like, yeah, but you knew that the whole time and you was working with him, and now that you ain't getting that, and now, you know, it's Trump bad. So now that he really ain't getting and he going broke, he back on Trump's DICK.
Yeah, that removes. I mean, it ain't like he had a lot of credibility to begin with, but that removes any credibility he ever had. I mean, this dude made you serve prison time. So the only reason you would be back on Trump's dick, as you're indicating, is he had to do something. You called him behind the scenes and tried to make some kind of deal with him and apologize, and he gave you some money, and now you promoting him again. Michael Cohen looks terrible in something like that.
Yeah, that's what the MAGA supporters do. They do the same thing. They come outside out of the church, they look around, they see shit is still fucked up and getting worse, and then what they do, they still go back and double down on that shit. Like, please, he's a person, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take this from you, then turn around and see that it's gonna cause some fuck shit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it back, and then everybody gonna be see, he saved us. You see how nice he is? But the motherfucker wanted to take it from you. Maybe the court stopped you. Maybe Congress stopped you. Maybe.
Let me ask you then, what about some of the other folks that are anti-Trumpers all of a sudden? The Tucker Carlsons, the Marjorie Taylor Greens. Any chance they're going back?
Not Marjorie. Marjorie's a woman. You know how they feel about women. They treat women.
Oh shit, he treated Nikki Haley like shit, and she endorsed him, called her bird brain and every damn thing. I mean, she still ended up endorsing him.
Okay, so she was called bird brain. She didn't go out there and say he's on the list or he's part of the investigation. She didn't say none of that.
The point I'm making is, the point I'm making is he treated her like shit, and she still came back.
That's Marjorie Taylor. I mean, that's not Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a totally different beast with a totally another different beast that she was talking about and handling and brought to the light. So again, those are two totally different issues. One guy talking about like a dog, said nothing and still promoted like you just said, and the other one said, no, I ain't on that shit for the time being. We still gotta side eye her like we doing Cohen. At the same time, she's not welcome back. That's what I'm saying. No matter
I cannot imagine what Michael Cohen. Wait a minute. I cannot imagine what did Michael Cohen do to get welcome back. He got back in there.
No, it's not so much he got back. He's just promoting Trump. And it's a difference because Trump will still side eye you like yeah. Now mind you, he may do a JD Vance type deal because JD Vance talked about him during the run-in an election and he was the new Schmittler and all that stuff. But again,
Yeah.
he's the vice president now.
Well, maybe we need to start giving Trump credit for being he's the guy who claims to be the art of the deal maker. I mean, he is making deals to get his adversaries to come back and roll with him. I mean, you don't normally see that.
So the only thing I can give him credit for is being the biggest devil that walked the earth. That's the only thing he whisper in your ear.
He ain't what has he done to be the biggest devil that walked the earth? Is he worse than Stalin, worse than Hitler, worse than Hirohito?
When your administration and the things that you told people to do unalive 100 and I think it was 170 school children over in another
That
country.
wasn't intentional, Stick.
And then you blame. Well, if it wasn't intentional, why did you blame it on Iran?
That was intentional. Yeah, refusing to accept. Listen, I don't think or anybody on the side of the USA intentionally tried to kill 100 and some odd schoolgirls. But yes, Trump definitely intentionally tried to not take accountability for it. I believe they thought it was what it formerly was, something connected to the military or something like that. On old intelligence, they bombed this structure, not knowing it is currently a school. So they didn't try to kill a bunch of girls, but once they realized they did, they tried to deny responsibility for it.
That's a good spin, Tim.
You think they tried to kill all those kids?
I think that they tried to hit that target, which they did, and they didn't do the fucking proper research to figure out.
I get all of that. I'm agreeing to that. But let me ask you, do you believe they knew that building was full of kids?
Yes, and if they didn't know, they didn't care. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You're not
They knew that they was in there, and yes, saying they didn't care either way. Yes and yes. I'm giving you two same answers. Yes.
I'm gonna ask you folks in the audience by way of yes or no this same question. Do you believe that Trump and Hegseth, because Hegseth, would probably be part of this, do you believe they actually knew before bombing had children in it and proceeded to bomb it anyway? Yes or no? I don't believe that.
They double tapped it. They act like it was a boat. They act like it was a boat out there in the water that had fishermen on it.
What would be the goal of doing that? What would be the goal of killing a bunch of kids?
Because they trying to instill fear. They don't white men or the old new white men.
I gotta say, I'm surprised at how many folks are saying yes, that the Trump administration knew the structure was full of kids and blew it up anyway, which basically just makes them child killers. I agree with the part of Trump likes to promote fear and things like that, but to deliberately kill over 100 kids intentionally to promote fear, wow.
Tim, you got to look at it like this. He enriched himself $2.2 billion, by the way. He enriched himself while everybody else, I'm gonna take your food stamps. I'm gonna take some healthcare away. I'm gonna put certain when I want to take it away. God damn it. Anyway, he's hurting veterans by staggering some of the programs that we have. He's going all around the board trying to see where he can take from, but then at the same time he wants fucking the pool / the pond. He want to redo the White House, tear it all down. He say private donors are gonna pay for it. Then we end up having now all of a sudden we're holding the bag for the whole billion. This is what your guy got going on. That's why I call him a devil.
Will it get any better? I mean, the question is, are we better off under Trump than we were under Biden? Do you expect the way the country is being ran under Trump, while you strongly believe right now, apparently, that Biden was better, do you expect the Trump presidency with almost 2 more years left, over 2 years left, do you expect it to get better? Inflation can improve, gas prices could go down?
No, nobody can tell me when the war is going to end. Nobody can tell me when we're going to be insolvent. Like, it's going to have our troops deployed. Like, I just think that this whole deployment of WAR, all he wants is something in the history. That's it. It has nothing to do with helping the Iranian people and trying to make sure the nuclear weapon. No, it's just a check on his belt. Every president that has talked about today, whether it be Bush, whether it be Daddy Bush, whether it be Reagan and the communists, whatever kind of war that they was in, the drug war, the Cold War.
Well, keep it. He only did this.
Oh yeah, he only did one term because everybody had already had the 2 terms of Reagan, and then he made what 12 years.
Well, he made the mistake of saying "read my lips, no new taxes," and he didn't carry out his campaign promise. I got to move it on, no stick. The idea though that he would bomb a whole school full of kids, man, I don't want to believe that, stick. But
well,
go ahead.
Well,
last word to you.
Last word. So my boy Trump, he can do all these things that I just said. My boy Bill Clinton lied about getting some Smoking Joe Frazier, some presidential, and he got impeached. I'm just saying. Yeah. That's all I wanted. I just want to throw that out there.
Fair enough.
So
appreciate it.
All right, Tim.
And by the way, if Trump is called to testify before Congress and he lies, which is what Bill Clinton got impeached for, he didn't get impeached for getting his you know what sucked on. He got impeached for lying to Congress about it. So perjury. In the past, to testify before Congress, they felt confident. I mean, look, Trump is not always honest. I don't think it would be hard to question Trump in a manner to get him to lie. There's certain things you already know if you ask him, like the 2020 election and stuff like that. There's certain questions you can ask Trump, and you already kind of know where he's going to lie. So I don't think his legal team would want him in front of Congress at all. They would try to get him to plead the fifth as much as possible because it probably wouldn't be hard to get Trump to perjure himself. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 40,000. Help your boy with the hat mustache, TikTok cap goals. First time soliciting that for obvious reasons, but help your guy with the hat mustache, TikTok cap goals. We'll go back to the comment section and then to the box shortly. Heck said, and Trump made it clear that they were household Bella. How did they make it clear? I don't get that one. Dorothy, so change the rules for him, then ask why we say white privilege. What rule is she asking to be changed for him? I think he should at least get 2 more years letting Vice something take over last 2 years. I don't understand what you're saying by that. And Dorothy says, I would go to the Appalachians for 50-pound bags of oysters cheap. Okay, don't know what that means. Evil B. Babu, Tim, good afternoon. The amazing, impossible man of the hour. Boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Tim Liberal, I present to you the best of the best. The man that has gangsta grandma wrapped around his finger. Welcome to the best show. Wow, Evil B. Babu. Boo, thank you for your support and that beautiful, warm welcome. Appreciate that. I almost want to screenshot that. Are you saying every American that's white is paying for child school alone? How many millions do they get sports? I don't know what you guys are talking about there, but I'll continue on. CDC is Center for Disease Control. They prevent things from being, the Epstein files are available on the Department of Justice website. Educate yourself and read them for yourself. I guarantee you're not going to like what you see. Look, when it came to the way Trump handled the Epstein stuff, to me, just based on how Trump has handled several things, I don't feel confident that the Department of Justice website is even an accurate source to cite alone. I mean, I'm certain what's on the DOJ or what's on WhiteHouse.gov, that's just stuff that Trump is saying. You hear them say all the time, liberals can't even tell you what a woman is. The Republican Party can't even tell you who won the 2020 election. They are scared to say it. Just like there's a lot in common with the liberals. A lot of liberals were hesitant to answer the question of what a woman is because they didn't want to be at odds with the transgender community, the LGBTQ community. They thought that that was a voting bloc they didn't want to ostracize. That's what's going on with this shit with the election. You got folks that absolutely know what happened, and they are scared to answer that question because they don't want to be on the wrong side of Trump. They don't know what an election is. That's crazy. Looking in the comments, by the way, Tim, your life, how is it buffering? I don't know why this is the worst America has been under Trump. Okay, you're saying that also. This is the worst America has ever been under Trump. I got to push back on that, Evil. We're not, listen, I'm talking from being an African American. Under Trump, we're not dealing with Jim Crow. Under Trump, the level of discrimination in this country is significantly less than most other presidents throughout history. I don't think that we're the worst that we've ever been under President Trump. Now, you could make the argument if you believe he's trying to turn the clock back on some things, but America has been significantly worse off than it is right now. I wouldn't want to go to anything before probably Jimmy Carter. I wouldn't want to go to any of those presidents because America to me was way for people like George Washington, probably up to Jimmy Carter. I wouldn't want shit to do with. We didn't have civil rights under most of those presidents. So I think you're kind of maybe in our lifetime, I guess you want to say, if you believe Trump is that bad and you're Gen X like myself, maybe you think that Trump is the worst president we've ever had in your lifetime. But I don't believe by any stretch of the imagination he's the worst we've ever had. Looking in the comments here real quick, liberal Democrats will never get power again, says Gary Winter. If liberals in this country never gain power again, the country will fail. I cannot tell you that any stronger. The country will fail. Just like if the left won and the right never came to power again, the country would fail. I mean, you need a push-pull. You need an equal balance. You know what the far left is like. You hear it all the time from folks on the right. The transgender is going to take over. You guys are saying communists and socialism and all of this shit from the far left. Well, if the liberals never win again, the country's going to continue going further and further and further to the right, are considered far right. Afghanistan is a far right country. So is some of the Muslim countries where women have no say so. Men pretty much rule the land. Minorities are non-existent. They don't have any power. That's far right. So it can go both ways. In the comments, Handsome Conservative says, I will not be showed up, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing a man with integrity, the host with the strength of character. Amen. Who knows when to dock? Put your hands together for a handsome liberal. Thank you very much. There is no such thing as a dishonest politician, really, says Handsome Conservative. In most cases, true. In most cases, that is true. Trump's getting hammered on that. I'll go back to the box, tap the screen, get the lights on up. Before I bring up the next guest, I'll just say this in regards to Trump. Anytime Trump is criticized for something, and the response is, well, you know they all do that, or everybody lies, or everybody's corrupt. First of all, that's a terrible excuse to defend a politician. That's like if you get caught stealing, where you know everybody shoplift a little bit. You get caught speeding, well, you know first of all, that's taking zero accountability. But the second biggest issue is Trump campaigned on not being that. Unlike most politicians, Trump campaigned on calling out and exposing liars. So now that he's in power, well, you know, they all kind of lie. No, you specifically campaigned on not being that guy. Same pass as everybody else because you campaigned on not being everybody else. So yeah, they all lie is not a good excuse for President Trump. Tap the screen, get your boy on up to 40,000. We'll take the next caller. Help your guy with the hat, mustache, tick-tock, cap, goes. MAGA reacts. Good evening, MAGA. Welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much at all. Are we better off than we were 2 years ago? What say you?
Definitely.
Give me some metrics. Why you say definitely? Sounds fairly confident.
Inflation is overall better, even though the last couple of months has been shit. The fucking stock market's up, border is secure, crime is low, or crime and murders are record low in the country. The economy's meh. Like overall, I mean, you know me, I still give Trump a C minus. I'm not happy with him in any way. I mean, yeah, I'm not happy with him because he could do a lot better, and there's a lot of like self-inflicted wounds that he could have avoided.
Yeah.
But
you believe we're doing
way better than Biden.
You believe right now our economy under Trump is way better than it was under Biden?
Yeah, because it's outpacing inflation. You know, inflation was so bad under Biden that anytime the stock market went up, it was all negated by the inflation. Because if you're making you used to make $1, now you're making $2, but everything's costing $2.50, you're actually making less money. Even though you're making more money, you're making less because everything costs $2.50 what it used to.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. Me and you've had this conversation before, and you've mentioned inflation, and I can tell you that I'm not hearing that from the American people anywhere. That they themselves are saying that their dollar is doing better, or their money is going further under Trump than it did under Biden, or that they can purchase more at the grocery store, or put more gas in there. I'm not hearing anybody. Now, the stock market, yes, that is true. I am hearing people bragging about the stock market, but that's not the majority of Americans. Most Americans are not invested in the stock market.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they could buy more. I'm saying, okay, if you used to buy something for $1, from Biden took it from $1 to $2. Trump took it from $2 to $2.25.
So you're saying, wait, hold on. So you're saying,
but under Biden,
I get what you're saying. So you're saying under President Biden, what you would have purchased in 2020 when he took office for $1 in 2024 now costs $2. Is that what I'm hearing?
Actually, if you want me to do the math correctly, what you could buy for $1 under Biden, and then when he became president, when he left, it cost you $1.21. And then Trump, when he became president, if it cost $1.21, now it costs like a dollar. Like you gotta do the math. It's like $1.25, $1.30. So it only went up by 10 cents. Not even.
Well, you got to keep in mind. Wait, hold on. No, you got to keep in mind. You're comparing 4 years of Biden to a year and a half with Trump so far.
That's true, but again.
So that would to some degree, when you look at the amount of time that Trump has been in office, with the amount of movement you're suggesting, he probably would be on a trajectory to go higher than Biden because he's only been in office for a little bit over a year.
But if you still compare the first, year and a half of Biden versus the year and a half of Trump, it gets even worse because most of Biden's inflation was at the beginning.
Well, yeah, they handed him a disease. What do you expect to happen?
Yeah,
when Biden took office, everything was closed.
Government spending.
Yeah, but when
in the end, it was more the government spending than anything that caused the inflation. It's all that free money they gave out.
I'm going to look. You and I know that the first year of Biden's term, that was not a typical term for a president. You can't go, millions of dollars have been handed out in stimulus, jobs were closed all over it was a different world. You can't judge him by that. Nobody else has dealt with that.
Well, I judge him by the entire 4 years.
Okay. And
even the second and third year were bad. Even if you ignore the first year and just look at the second and third, it's still pretty bad. Put it next to each other, I still say. And again, there's less crime. I'm not even counting on crime and murders and all that.
What is Trump? Wait. You're not.
It's not good. It's not good under Trump, but it hasn't gotten as bad as it was under Biden. Biden was really bad.
Well, I want to respond. Let me respond to before I respond to the crime thing. Denkel says the stock market has nothing to do with wage increases. And I tend to agree with that. And he also says he is not using any context, so he disagrees with you. But If the wealthy do very well, there any evidence of that at all.
I didn't say that.
No.
I didn't say that. I said the stock market is its own thing, and I'm just comparing the stock market under Trump versus the stock market under Biden. I'm not saying the stock market shows that we're doing well.
Okay.
But if
Now,
you compare one to the other, it's fair.
Now you mentioned crime.
Let's say rich people under Trump versus rich people under Biden. You know, I'm not even talking about poor people, because poor people, it's very hard to measure their well-being.
That's most of the people in the country. Most of the people in the country are in the 99. Well, not necessarily dirt poor, but we're talking about just the 99%. That's who we want to hear about, not the rich people.
I mean, inflation covers most of that, and that's why I always bring up inflation, because it's the number one metric that tells you how expensive things are, or how much your dollar is worth less today versus the day before. So I always look at inflation, and overall, Trump has a very good record when it comes to inflation.
Okay. Now you mentioned crime. You mentioned
prices are going up, but he's kept that increase to the minimal.
I don't think anybody buying should agree with you. I mean, to me, folks,
because things already got up really high under Biden, so they're never going to go back down. But they've only increased a little.
Did you not hear what Trump said at the State of the Union address that I played?
I don't remember what numbers he was giving.
Okay.
I
want you to hear this, because this is President Trump with no where the fuck is my notes at? This is President Trump with no Biden to really blame it on, because this is actually after Biden was gone, and this is Trump indicating that all of the corrections he's made since Biden screwed everything up. Listen to this.
But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%.
This is 5 months ago.
Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
This is in February he's talking about this. So basically all of the fuck ups in his that we're dealing with right now are his responsibility, because he's making it clear he had got things to damn near perfection. So what we're dealing with right now is all him.
Yeah, that's true, but it's still not as bad as Biden's fuck ups. It's still not as bad as fucking Afghanistan, as far as the effects of the Ukraine war.
How is it? Wait. What is so bad about it? What did Biden do that's so bad about Afghanistan? What are you giving him credit for?
What do you mean? That fucking withdrawal was fucking horrible. The Taliban should have never been able to take over that country.
Okay, so
bombed the shit out of them.
So all of the
so much to them.
Right. So okay, we're going to hold him accountable for what the Taliban did, leaving Afghanistan. By the way, Trump is the only reason the Taliban is back in power over there. I guess we don't talk about that, but we got to compare what you're giving Biden credit for.
Trump was supposed to take the troops out. He was never. If Trump was in charge, I don't think the Taliban would have ever taken over.
Trump is the one that negotiated to put him back in power. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but again,
they didn't take over. They didn't take over. He gave it to him.
He didn't give it to them. They took over because fucking Biden was in charge. He didn't do a
No,
thing to attack
Trump
them.
had already. You're
He
wrong.
didn't have to send in troops. He
You're
could have bombed
wrong.
them from the air.
You're wrong. Trump had already negotiated a deal with the Taliban to get us out of Afghanistan before Biden even got president. He put the Taliban back in charge. Nothing to do with Biden.
That deal was like a ceasefire. It wasn't a fucking surrender. They were not supposed to take over the country. He could have easily bombed them back to, just like we're bombing Iran now. He could have bombed them then, and without having to send in troops.
So what was Trump's plan, to stay in Afghanistan? If Trump had won in 2020, we weren't going to leave?
No, we would have left. But if Taliban did what they did, we would have bombed them. We would have bombed them like.
So we were going to leave if Trump had won and we were going to leave the country in charge of the Taliban, right? We're going to leave it in their
No,
hands.
you leave it. No, Afghanistan had a fucking its own government. They had
What?
their own president. They had their own government. The
So-
Taliban has its own. We basically we built a government for Afghanistan. They had their own, just like the Iraqis have their own government. Afghanistan had their own government, their own president, their own army. The problem is, without any support from the U.S., the second the Taliban came back, they all fucking ran away like cowards instead of fighting.
So
And
what
then
you're
the U.S. did nothing to stop the Taliban.
so what you're saying is that if Trump had won in 2020, Afghanistan had its own government, its own military, and they were going to continue receiving American support?
Yeah, they would. We just wanted to get the troops out of there.
I've
We
never
could've
heard
still
Trump say
bombed the Taliban.
anything.
We could have.
No. How you if you're going to
I
give
mean,
them
you do it
support?
in
Wait a
other
minute.
areas, bro. What do you
If
do
you're
with
going to give their military American support, how are you getting the troops out of there? You can't leave if you're going to support them because otherwise the Taliban will take
Just like-
over.
Just like what we're doing in Iran right now. You do it from the air. You give them air support. You fucking use.
And look
You
what
know,
and
the
look
only
what's
reason the
going
Iranians
on.
are winning is because Strait. Afghanistan doesn't have a Strait of Hormuz for us not to be able to fucking bomb the Taliban.
Look
Because
what
the Talibans are only
No,
safe.
here's
as
why-
long
here's
as they
why
stay
you're
in the
wrong.
mountains.
you're saying.
The second they left the mountains, you
Yeah.
could kill them again.
Here's why you're wrong. You're saying that we were not going to have boots on the ground. We were not going to stay in Afghanistan. We were going to let their own government run the country, and we were only going to give them support from the air if necessary. That's exactly what we're doing in Iran, and it ain't changing shit. We're only doing stuff from the air, and it's not stopping anything. But a heavily mountainous country like Iran, like Afghanistan,
Okay.
you're gonna just deal. You're only gonna do this from the air. That would not do anything.
Okay, but in Iran, we're trying to change the government, and we have an issue with the Strait of Hormuz. We already had a government in Afghanistan. That's
No,
running
we
the
did
place. We
not.
had the people
That is
on our side.
wrong. That
Yes,
is
we
wrong.
did. We had
Who was in charge?
Shit.
Give me the name of the who
They
was.
had some president that ran away. They had their own president. They had their own government. Bro, Google this shit. It takes 2 seconds. To
I am
Google.
100%
Afghanistan had
certain.
a fucking government.
We put
You thought
Hamid.
the Taliban were in charge?
We put Hamid Karzai in charge over in Afghanistan. He had already ran and fled before we left. That was already over with. Trump negotiated with the Taliban. He didn't negotiate with some other army or some other government. He was negotiating with the Taliban.
But we still had an army. Where did we leave all those jeeps and helicopters for? We left it for the
Why are you
Afghanistan
negotiating?
army.
Why are you negotiating with the Taliban if you don't want to be in control?
Because we were cool with the Taliban staying in the mountain thing where they're at. They weren't supposed to take over the country. They're supposed to
okay.
stay where they're at in the mountains because we can't kill them in the mountains.
Okay.
But we can kill them if they left the mountains, which is what they did.
Okay. All right.
This isn't rocket science, Tim.
No,
Come
this
on,
ain't.
like,
No, you know it ain't rocket science. I sound like I'm talking to an astronaut that's
They're-
been on
They're
mushrooms.
hiding in the fucking caves, which is what the Taliban does. They're hiding in caves where we can't kill them. We're like, okay, you guys stay in the cave, and we're just gonna have a ceasefire. You guys stay in the cave. Everybody else is stay where they're at. Everything's gonna be cool.
So
But the problem is, they didn't stay in the caves, and we should have bombed them the second they left the caves.
So just to get clarity, we didn't intend for under Trump because Biden wasn't in office yet. For what you're saying is Trump never intended for the Taliban to be in control. It was the Afghanis had their own government, and we were going to provide them air support if the Taliban ever tried to take over. The Taliban don't wear uniforms or anything. So how are you going to know if they take over?
You can still. That's what intelligence is for. You have some intelligence. You have satellites. You're gonna see 1,000. It's not like one or two people. It's gonna be thousands of people moving. You're not gonna take over. The Afghanistan army didn't get beat by like people fucking hiding. They got beat by fucking a whole army moving.
All right.
I mean, can we agree though that Afghanistan had its own army and its own fucking government?
I think it's common knowledge, MAGA, that Trump negotiated with the Taliban and gave that country back to the Taliban. This other stuff you're talking about, you're the first person I've ever heard say this. I've never heard anybody else say anything other than. Go ahead.
Get on Google, ask Alexa. Get on Google, ask Alexa. Here, I'll fucking show you.
I mean, the whole comment section, is there anybody that agrees with him? I mean, the whole comment section is disagreeing with you. Nobody believes Trump negotiated with anybody but the Taliban. Everybody knows that. That's common knowledge.
With them they were supposed to stay where they're at. They weren't supposed to take over the country.
And you just believe they're going, after centuries of hardcore rule, you just trust the Taliban.
Well, no, that's what the fucking bombs are for. You bomb them and they fucking leave.
Then why leave? If you don't trust them, why leave? So in other words, we're gonna leave Afghanistan. We have nothing of value there anymore, but we're gonna still provide them basically millions of dollars in ongoing air support.
Yeah, because we already spent trillions building up this government and making Afghanistan fucking a decent place.
We
But we left it and it turned back into the fucking shithole it was before us.
We spent.
How many people died?
What you're saying don't even match President Trump himself. We spent billions of dollars helping out the Ukrainians. Trump came in power and immediately said, "I'm not helping them out anymore." But we're going to help out the Afghanis?
Because it wouldn't take that much to keep the Taliban in check. There's a difference between fighting fucking the Russian army and fighting some fucking cave people. Come on, Tim.
It wouldn't
keep a bunch of cave people taking over a fucking country.
It wouldn't take that much to keep the Taliban in check. Yet we were over there for years and years and years, and they still existed when we left. Yet they would be easy to keep in check, huh?
Because we can't kill them in their fucking caves. But they had to leave their caves to take over the fucking country.
No, they don't.
So we're like,
okay.
Yes, they do. What do you mean? We basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you can fucking Google this shit. You don't have to fucking take my word for it.
Hey.
Your fucking audience must be retarded if they don't know this.
Everybody knows
There you go.
what everybody knows the Afghans.
Afghanistan had the Afghan National Army, which was built and funded by NATO and the United States. They were built following the fall of the Taliban in 2001. At its peak, the army had 180,000 fucking troops in the Afghani army. That's what we left. We left 180,000 troops to fucking defend Afghanistan.
That shit was long disassembled by the time we left. I gotta move it on.
Someone's being
they don't like you. They don't like you. I'll move it on.
One last thing though.
Real quick.
One last thing. This is the school bombing bullshit.
Yeah.
You see these. You see all this shit in white?
Trump said they did. Trump said they bombed their own school. Is he accurate?
Let me tell you what I think happened. All right, you see all the white.
No, I'm asking you: did Trump tell the truth when he said Iran did it?
I think they did something where missiles end up missing because we were blowing up all these buildings. All these buildings right here are enemy buildings. The small building in the corner is the school. I think we're trying to blow up these buildings, and one of the missiles either got hit or something happened to it, or ended up hitting this building by accident.
Is that Iran? Trump said Iran did it. Yes or no? Did Iran blow up their own school?
It's a possibility that if they have some missile defense system, it might have caught. Or I think they might have jammed it. If they have any, I know they have drone jamming technology.
Can
they
you
could
even?
have jammed it. It could have been. It could have been a lot of things, or it could have been a simple mistake.
Could it possibly have been Trump lying?
I mean, possibly, but what I say is they weren't trying to hit the school by itself. They're trying to destroy all of this. They fired like 4 or 5 missiles to destroy this entire area, to destroy all these buildings in white. And one of the missiles missed and hit the small little building in the corner by accident.
Okay, Trump also said,
is it an accident or not?
Trump also said Iran has tomahawks. Is that accurate?
I don't think so.
So in other words, we know he was lying.
That wasn't an accident. I think it's an accident because it was one building in the corner while they were trying to blow up the entire area.
Okay, but last question. 2 things Trump said. 1, Iran blew up their own school. 2, they had tomahawks. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is a fucking liar. How likely is that?
I don't think they blew it up. I think they accidentally caused it.
They had tomahawks. How
by us?
He said they had tomahawks. Is that a lie?
I don't know. They have some pretty good missiles, apparently.
I gotta go. I'll leave it at that. said they got some pretty good missiles. Tap the screen. Notice they haven't used any of those. Tap the screen, get the light on up to 55,000. He said they got some pretty good missiles. That was funny. Help you out the hat mustache. TikTok cap goals. We're sitting at 0, are we not? Show your boy some love in the comments here. I've never heard somebody say they got pretty good missiles. Ask what the inflation was post Biden. Then now I just seen that. Didn't count. My apologies. Trump released 5,000 Taliban. Yeah, I think it's common knowledge that President Trump negotiated with the Taliban. The idea, and thank you, Blue One Banks. Thank you, appreciate that. The idea that Trump left the Afghan government and army in control. He's ever heard say that. I've never heard anybody suggest that when Trump left office, the Taliban had their own working government in place. Never heard that. So, and I see in the comments you're saying Afghan had 180,000 troops, but you also pointed out a lot of that go all the way back to 2001. When Trump left office in 2021, January 2021, they didn't have no 180,000 troops. None of that was the case. The Taliban was who Trump negotiated with, and that's who he left in control. So in the comments here, things are better off for Trump under Trump. Yeah, that absolutely is true. Trump is certainly doing well for himself. Naeem Barber says, I am a veteran from 5-7 Cavalry. That was the dumbest shit I've ever heard. He says, go watch the joint training videos with them. They had no chance. You know, that's an interesting point because I do believe I heard that the military that the Afghans did have in place, once shit hit the fire, they all retreated and ran anyway. So that they may have had a few numbers here and there, but they didn't have the bravado to be a successful military. I have heard that before, which is what Naeem Barber is saying. Continuing on, no, Trump never lies, always tells the truth, says, who said that? Charlie Peace. So you believe when Trump posted a picture of himself as a doctor that didn't look like he was Jesus with his hands lighting up? Because remember, Trump said that he thought that was him as a physician. That was telling the truth, huh? Okay. The idea that Trump never tells a lie is comical. I mean, you may agree with him on a lot of things, but the idea that he don't tell a lie is kind of comical. Continuing on, though, I mean, he's not the only person I've heard say that Trump don't lie, though. Words like never and always is the reason their arguments fall apart, and that is a good example of one with my last guest. But we'll continue on with Sherbert. Good evening, Sherbert. Welcome to the program. Liberals have no sense of humor. I don't totally agree with that, Claudia. I'll tell you, but I understand where you're coming from. Look, if every joke somebody makes is at your expense, you're probably going to stop laughing. It's just, it is the way it is. I mean, if you go to a comedy show and you're sitting in the front row, hang on a second there, Sherbert. If you go to a comedy show and you're sitting there in the front row and a comedian spends 2 hours just making nothing but jokes about you, your outfit, your hair, calling you ugly, that's not going to be a good show for you. So when you say liberals have no sense of humor, yeah, they're the butt of all of the jokes. It ain't like Trump is telling equal jokes about Republicans and I mean, all of your jokes are about liberals. You know, Biden hog-tied in the back of a pickup truck. Liberals should laugh. Trump dumping shit on liberal protesters. They should laugh. Trump showing them Obamas as monkeys. That should be hilarious. What about people laughing at Charlie Kirk being used as a water fountain? Did you find that funny? No, because when the jokes start being about your side, you suddenly stop laughing. But it makes sense that liberals have no sense of humor. All of the jokes, they're at the butt of all the jokes. Sherbert, good evening.
How's it going, Tim?
Oh, I'm in the trenches as usual. Are we better off than we were 2 years ago? What say you?
God, no.
I
don't
tell you.
see how we could be very much worse unless we actually drop the big bomb down.
Damn. I'll tell you something. I got a poll on YouTube going on asking that very question. Are you better off under President Trump? 780 plus have responded so far. 36% says yes, they are better off under Trump. 64% say no. So go fit. I mean, that's a few hundred people. I mean, you know.
Sure.
That's
But
it.
those are also probably the very short-sighted people that will, punch their grandma in the head to be able to jump over her in the line to get that next coupon. Like, if you have no sense of morality and care about your neighbors, then yeah, you're probably doing freaking awesome right now. I bet you went to that UFC fight on the White House lawn.
I wouldn't have mind going to that. That would have been an honor to go see that. Hang out with the president and his people. You wouldn't have went to that if they
Yeah, but
invited
if you
you?
think you're doing better now than you were 2 years ago, then you're the asshole that's going to spend a couple $100,000 to make sure that you're going.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I don't want to spend the money to go, but because I had somebody ask me if the president invited you to the White House, would you go? And folks are saying no in the comments, like, who would turn that down? Let me ask you, would you turn that down?
Right now, yeah.
If Trump invited you on an all expenses paid White House tour, put you up in a hotel in DC for a couple of days, you get to tour the White House and see everything,
Yeah.
you wouldn't take
What?
that.
How many things have I said on here that you think I would get a friendly reception? That'd obviously be a trap. No.
Why would it
There's
be a
people who are
trap?
protesting that got like 50 years in prison. There's no fucking way I'm going to go to the White
Oh,
House
I
right
see
now
what
with
you're
that
saying.
administration.
So you're saying you've criticized the administration so much that if he invited you, you would think they're trying to capture your ass when you get there.
All expenses paid, 100%.
Well,
It'll be in handcuffs, but it'll be free.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Trump has gotten to that point just yet. I mean, that may be the
No,
future.
he's starting. He's starting now. They just sentenced like 5 people to ridiculous sentences over nothing. I don't know. I haven't had enough time to look it up. I start a new job. I'm extremely tired most days, but I have heard from at least 6 or 7 different pretty credible, channels going over these charges, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So that should be your topic tomorrow.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that. You have to send me a link or something. But I do believe it is the agenda of Trump, though. I feel confident that if Trump could have his way, he would punish detractors. Certainly media and anybody that's doing it public. I do believe if Trump could have his way, you would be punished for speaking ill of him.
Now, isn't it amazing that all of these MAGA people that come up and just say, at least when they talk to me, like, you just don't like him. You couldn't say one nice thing. You just don't like him. If he's willing to put away people, if you, as the host, who tries to be as neutral as possible, if you think that that is a fair possibility,
Yeah.
we've come to such a bad place. And for MAGA Reacts to then just go crazy, you're the one that's out of reality here. You're the one that has Trump derangement syndrome. It doesn't apply to me anymore. I've been proven right way more times than you have ever been proven
Yeah,
right.
I think MAGA Reacts has taken upon himself to believe his job is just to defend Trump no matter what. Because some of the things he says I've never heard. Like what he was saying about the Taliban versus the Afghanis having their own army. I've never heard that whatsoever. When Trump was in office the first go round, I've never heard him bragging that thanks to us, the Afghanis have their own military and they're a civilized society now. Trump was just trying to leave.
There's one simple fact that he clearly doesn't want to know, is that Trump did not negotiate with the actual Afghani government. He negotiated with the Taliban.
Yeah.
So once everything went down, the actual Afghani soldiers had no idea what to do. That's why they fell so fast, because there was no stand fast, we're going to get hit with a wave, but we have a contract with Trump. There was none of that. So for him to even talk about this shit shows me he has no fucking idea.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
I would say
very
that.
simple facts.
Yeah, I would say that the idea that once we left, the Taliban would take over is something that our people knew from day one. They knew that army that the Afghanis had that MAGA is trying to suggest existed. If it did exist, they knew that army was not going to be in place for very long. They knew they didn't have the will nor determination to maintain that country. And there is no way in hell I'm going to believe that Trump, if he had won in 2020, intended to maintain dominance from the air and protect the Afghanis. But you do have company. Apparently he wants to rebut, so we'll bring him up. Wait a minute, I brought up Hank Twisted. I gotta bring you back later. I was MAGA Reacts. I think he requested. Don't know what happened to him though.
Come on, MAGA Reacts, let's go. I love being able to actually tell him when he's wrong versus typing in the comments.
Okay, there you go. MAGA.
Hey, man. Admitting there was an army and a government, can I get that at least?
But they weren't negotiated with. They were not given any tools to succeed within that surrender they were forced to do.
So if we were leaving this place to the Taliban, why did we leave all that fucking military equipment?
Why did we leave all our coolers too for our troops? We left all our stuff too, not just.
We left a bunch of shit in Iraq as well. We kind of what we do.
Helicopters that would fly out in 2 minutes.
We left the coolers full of sodas, man. We didn't help them out at all, and I'm tired of you fucking lying.
They had a fucking parade with all the fucking helicopters and fucking tanks and shit.
So what you're so MAGA?
An army of 180,000 people. You don't think they would have held off the fucking Taliban?
I would love to see the helicopter parade. I remember seeing all the civilians try and cling to the sides of our airplanes to even just be in the landing gear to get the fuck out of there. I would love to see a parade footage. I haven't heard about this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't heard about
the
that.
Taliban parade?
The Taliban parade? No, I haven't heard about the Taliban parade. I thought you were talking about the Afghani normal soldiers having a parade before we left, but I don't know what you're talking about.
What MAGA reacts?
We left so much equipment behind for the Afghanistan army that once they fucking lost and gave up, the Taliban had it, and they had a whole fucking parade with all the equipment we left for the Taliban army.
I'd be interested in seeing that.
Hold on.
Tim wouldn't even admit there was an army. But
What you're saying, MAGA? Hold on. What you're saying is that in the span of about 3 months, Afghanistan went from being fully controlled by its own army and its own people to completely under Taliban control. Because it happened really early on in Biden's administration. So you're saying Trump left Afghanistan in great order, and within a few months they had all failed. Was there a...
It was 2 days. It wasn't even
exactly
months.
What happened?
It was
days.
Like
1 to 3 months. It was
no. It was days. They were gone. They were out. The moment our planes started lifting off the ground.
Let me ask you, in MAGA,
city by city.
So MAGA, are you saying with the Taliban, was there a huge amount of killing, or did the army just tuck their tails and run?
I think they gave up because the fucking president left. I don't really know how much killing there was.
In other words, it was a paper tiger to begin with then.
Yeah, because then if we would have fucking told them to fucking hold their ground, if they would have saw us fucking bombing the fucking Taliban.
Hey, does every other word have to be fucking? Like,
if they ran that quick, even if we were helping them out from the air, they obviously didn't have the will to fight. It ain't like they were fighting and saw they were losing men and decided to run. It sounded like they just ran right away. So even if we were bombing from the air, that was not a military.
Or not, it wasn't part of the plan. You make it. According to you, it was part of the plan for them to give up.
Can I speak?
Yeah, I believe that.
Can I speak?
Go ahead, Sherbert.
Go ahead.
So how does, when our final, Trump pulled us down to 2,500 troops, we released 5,000 soldiers, and then as we're pulling out that 2,500, we're just expecting anything good to happen there? I'm just confused how Trump's negotiation helped in any bit of your argument here.
It's a good question.
Oh, he ran.
Yeah, I don't know why he ran, but he did drop. Yeah, I don't see it. Like I said, if they ran that quick, if it only took 3 months for them to fall, then they never really were interested in defending their nation anyway. You said what?
He says he's still here. Bring him back up. He paid for that time. I want to hear this answer because I've never gotten a good answer.
I don't know why he dropped. I didn't touch it.
Sorry, I was trying to turn on the camera, but the camera's not turning on for some reason.
Just
use your words, bro. Just use your words.
You got 6 minutes. Just go ahead and speak.
No. How does this work with the 5,000 soldiers and our 2,500 troops? And then I don't actually know what the size of the Afghani troops at the time were, but if we release 5,000 and you're saying, I think you were saying 1,800 before, or were you saying 18,000?
No, I was saying the Afghanistan army had 181,000 troops in 2019.
Really?
I don't know what it was in 2021. I'm Googling that right now.
It doesn't matter by 20. They didn't have any by 2021. By end of 2020,
I'm surprised he's trying to even.
They were gone.
I'm surprised he's even trying to make this argument.
It was between 165,000 to 180,000 troops. So So
It just didn't matter,
The
though.
fucking army, we left them equipment. You want to Google the parade that they had with all the equipment we left behind?
I mean,
They left
Tim,
all
if you want to, but
It's a waste of time.
but
Look,
what is this
hold on.
crew?
Let me just say this. If
The crew that wasn't the plan.
hold on, here's where it don't make sense. If they ran in only 3 months' time, there is no way our people, CIA or whatever intel we had in Afghanistan, believed that when Trump negotiated with them that this group of people was going to defend this nation. If they were that weak that they ran that quick without even taking casualties before running, it's pretty obvious. I'm certain our military personnel knew this shit ain't gonna hold up. They knew that already.
I got a rebuttal.
You never know the paper tiger.
Bullshit.
With Russia.
You can see that.
You
can see that.
There's
another
being
side
a little bit of a paper tiger.
You
There's
can
another
see,
side to
You
this
don't know
matter.
until you're actually fighting.
yeah. There's no way they convinced our people that when we lead them, if we lead them with some equipment, they'll be okay. You know people. I'm sure everybody watching knows people that even if you handed them a firearm and somebody broke in their house, you could not depend on them to use it. Everybody ain't meant for war. And I'm certain that our people knew these motherfuckers are gonna get slaughtered if we lead them. They knew that when they left. They knew that army was not gonna be significant.
We left them with all our tanks.
Doesn't
we left
matter.
them with helicopters, we left them
Mag
with all the
reacts.
fucking
It
best
doesn't
equipment.
matter. You heard what I
Let me say
said.
something. Well, dude,
I mean,
no Trump will remember.
we didn't leave them with fucking pea shooters.
It doesn't matter. You could leave somebody
Mag
with
reacts.
an AR-15 if it's not in them to do that. Like you ever see the movie Saving Private Ryan where the guys with a belt-fed 50 cal sitting in the hallway because he's not
Guys,
cut
none
out
of this
for
fucking
it.
matters.
Everybody ain't
Wait.
cut out for it.
Guys, do you remember when Trump tried to have us do a full pullout retreat while he was still in office and the generals said, no, we can't get our men out safely? So he was going to abandon them literally months before. So what the fuck does it matter what we were going to leave them when he was already willing to pull them out within 3 days?
180,000 troops is not abandoning them.
We were going to abandon them within 3 days, and the generals said, no, we can't get our men out that fast. So
Plus,
then
I think
he went to
you're confusing Syria
2,500.
with Afghanistan. I think you're confusing Syria with Afghanistan, by the way.
No, I'm not. At the end of his term, he tried to pull out of Afghanistan. And then he set up the negotiations to when Biden came in. Within 2 months of him coming in, we had it out because that's when the generals said that's the earliest we can get all of our men out safely. If you don't know that, you don't know shit.
And in the comments, Denkel says we knew they would collapse. That's why we didn't include them in negotiations. So what he's saying is we knew their army would not survive. That's why we only negotiated with the Taliban.
We negotiated with Russia without fucking Ukraine. Their army didn't fucking collapse.
Okay,
You don't know shit until there's actually a fight.
God, you're dumb.
I mean,
2 minutes.
how many times
That
have you had the
excuse?
fucking guy that you thought was gonna win a
Afghanistan
fucking
is not Russia, you dumbass. That is totally
saying they're
different where you
fucking-
cannot compare how Trump negotiates with how the rest of the world acts. What the fuck
Look,
was that?
I don't know in what world you think 180,000 troops get their ass kicked that
Clearly
way.
it didn't
I mean,
matter. They fell within days. Shut up about the 180,000. They weren't prepared. We didn't negotiate with their government. We didn't
And then-
negotiate with their generals. So we didn't give them a plan. What are you
And it
talking
was all
about?
planned. Why was the fucking pullout such a fucking disaster?
He tried to do it months earlier. You think it would have been better?
Trust me, man. None of that was planned. The plan was for the Taliban to stay in their
I want
fucking
to curse,
cave.
Tim.
But hey, 5 minutes
Because
ago, you wouldn't even admit
You got 1 minute to hold it out, sir. 1 minute.
Their army didn't matter is the biggest thing because literally within
Okay, but
hours
that's-
they were
But
they
at least
fell.
we're
They
admitting there
dropped.
was one. Because 5 minutes ago, you thought I was fucking making up their army and all this
I
fucking
knew-
equipment we left behind.
Now, to be fair, I thought you were talking about the Taliban's army. They did have kind of an army, but they just took over. They had the cultural, they had the people. It didn't fucking matter. They had all the sleeper cells that were waiting 20 years for us to finally pull out.
I'll say this. I'll say
You're
this.
saying 2,500 troops had him fucking shook.
I'll just say this too. Hold on a second. I'll say this: the Taliban has been fighting in Afghanistan for decades. You're not going to just assemble 100, even if it's 180,000, whatever you're talking about. These are hardened folks. You're not going to just assemble a group and go up against them. And that's what these are people that are used to dying, willing to die, all of that type of shit. Even if you get superior equipment, if you don't have a resolve to use it, if you don't have the bravado to take on a group of basically mercenaries, you're going to get slaughtered. And they knew it.
I'm just tired of this posturing. When he tried to screw them over months and months before, you were gargling so fucking hard on Trump that you don't even understand the basics of what happened.
I'm just saying, if we were supposedly defending them, why are we leaving with so much equipment and so much troops?
Just to make it look like we cared. That's why he left it. It was more expensive to bring that shit home. So just leave it for him. That's why.
Helicopters?
Yeah.
We could have easily flown these helicopters next door to fucking the Saudis or any one of our million, 100 bases over there.
Well,
I mean, maybe the fucking Jeeps and shit are not worth it, but you could definitely fly over the helicopters and you could at least destroy it if you thought the enemy was going to fucking take it. We'd rather blow it up than give it to the Taliban.
Reacts, do you need knee replacements at this point?
I gotta move it, gentlemen.
That wasn't the fucking plan, and
and
at least prove that there was fucking army, because according to you, there was no army and no fucking government 10 minutes ago.
They had a government, and then it fell once the Taliban took over within days, not months.
I can't believe you trying to.
That wasn't the plan.
All
That
right.
was not the plan.
It wasn't the
The
plan. Look, it
was
don't
not
know.
the plan for them to take over.
The plan was to be out of Iran in 2 to 4 weeks. That's because people can look at your plan and look and say, your plan ain't gonna happen, dude. Look, I got married years ago.
The grocery prices and gas prices. It's
We
been a
left
year and a half now,
Iran, but
Mega
they're
Reacts.
right.
All right, folks.
Come and do, you dipshit.
For time.
We left Iraq, and Iraq government and military held up.
All right,
We left
MAGA.
Afghanistan held up.
I gotta go, MAGA.
It worked
I'll
in
leave it at
Iran,
that.
Iraq, it just didn't work in Afghanistan.
Drop him.
All right.
Fucking stop.
Sherbert Rook.
All right. Give me one little thing. I don't want to talk about him anymore.
Okay.
Can I get one little side topic I can think about other than that dumbass?
Okay, I'm going to give you the one. With you being liberal, we've been talking about this with Trump and MAGA and the right overwhelmingly stating that this country is at risk of becoming a communist nation. Do you fear America being overran by communism?
Not really. Same way I'm not worried about them being overrun by socialists. And we have a lot of checks and powers. We don't have a lot of checks and powers against absolute corruption like we have now. But when it comes to communism and socialism, there's enough checks and balances. The same way that Sharia law will never be a thing here, or at least mandated thing here. That just stop with the fear mongering, guys.
Well, I mean, this is what Trump is saying. They're going to close your churches and kill people. I mean, this is what he said. So, I mean, look, I got a lot of folks on the right that think we are about to be overran by communists. So why do you think they're believing what you're not?
Chips implanted in their arm through the vaccine. They love conspiracy theories, and if Trump is the perfect one to actually just say the thing they're worried about, because he's looking for reaction, and they're looking to have anybody agree with them. I don't care anymore about these people. The 30% can really just go F off because
It's interesting you say the
we're
30%.
shoving a religion down their throat while they're making it mandatory in our schools. I don't care anymore. Fuck these people.
It's interesting you say the 30% in reference to MAGA. Do you realize that despite all of the controversy that tends to orbit around MAGA, they're still highly competitive with the Democrats in most polls? I mean, the Democrats are not doing well in a lot of polls. I saw it even on CNN today. Why do you think that is? With folks saying that Trump is destroying the country and a threat to democracy and all this other shit, why is the Democrats still not outperforming the Republicans in a lot of polls?
At this point, MAGA and Republicans are two different things.
True.
And when you have this
True.
poll, they're looking at both as one thing. Like I said, it's 30%. And then
Yeah,
you
but
got the
even
rest
though-
that are saying that they're regular conservatives.
Even though you're right, MAGA and Republicans are not the same. When it comes down to it, MAGA is going to, Republicans are going to side with MAGA. If a MAGA candidate rises to the top and they're running against a liberal, traditional Republicans are going to go with that MAGA candidate.
Probably. And I'm really starting to dislike even normal conservatives, because they've let such a con man in. They tried to let him in 3 different times. And if you can't see that he was such a disrespectful person by the 3rd election, you're never going to see it. I think you might just be bad people by not having a good sense of judge of character at that point.
Well, they're going to point to some things that Biden has done and suggest that Biden isn't very respectful either.
I would love to see more things than he opened the border, he opened the border, he opened the border. Oh, he tried to get rid of college loans? How terrible. What a horrible human being. The scale is just so off. I don't give a shit anymore, Tim. They can say whatever they want to say, but if they truly believe that, they're not paying attention, because I don't know anything Biden or Obama did that were truly that bad, except for a couple of military things. But even then, Trump has proven himself to be horrible on all of those in comparison. So
give me before I let you go. Before I let you go, give me 3 greatest hits for you calling Trump horrible and done all this. Give me 3 things he's done that you believe is horrible, worse than anything Biden or Obama has ever done.
Go with going all the way to the Supreme Court to stop food stamps from being delivered to people during government shutdown.
Damn, that is.
Can we agree on that one?
That is horrible. Give me number 2. That's terrible.
Letting Elon Musk have access to our Social Security data and then having leaks with our Social Security data within, I believe it was 30 minutes of the Doge's passwords being created for them. Within that time, we knew Russia had them at that point. So that's pretty bad. No oversight over very critical infrastructure.
Number 3.
I mean, there's a million for the 3rd, but I can't think of one that really sticks out more than the others.
All right, fair enough. I'll leave it at that. I agree with 1 and 2. Certainly 1. No, why would you? Yeah, going to the Supreme Court to stop people from getting food stamps. Why would you try to hurt the hungry because you're not getting your way? So that is Trump. That is our president. Sherbert, thanks for coming through.
Have a good night, Tim.
You too. And I see somebody in the comments said Trump cutting USAID tonight. Yeah, I think what we did with USAID is terrible. Look, if you want to stop U.S. money from going to corrupt sources, because that's what they were convinced that USAID, a lot of the money wasn't going to help people and it was going to corruption and things like that. Look, even though I disagree, even from that premise, some stuff would have made a lot more sense if we didn't then start using that tax money to build ballrooms and all kinds of shit. It started out with, we need to make sure our money is going to good stuff and we're not just wasting our taxpayer money on, foreign governments using it and not giving it to the people that need it and all that stuff the most. Okay, but then once he started using the taxpayer money on himself, that argument lost weight. Because right now we're hearing that the jet from Qatar, that we spent a couple $100 million outfitting it to make it safe for the president to fly in, it's not safe for the president to fly in. So even though we got the jet free from, well, I wouldn't even say free from Qatar, because I do believe the F-15 program in Idaho was the quid pro quo on that. But the jet that Qatar gave us, we still had to spend a couple $100 million to get it up to par. And now we got to spend even more money on that. And that's really just for him. That jet is just for him. He's going to fly in it. And he stated once he's done, it goes in the Smithsonian. That's hundreds of millions of dollars for one dude. So I normally would be okay with the USAID argument until that stuff started happening. And then that goes on with the pool and, the Tribunal Arch and the money we spent to put his name on the Kennedy Memorial and all. I mean, we stopped helping out poor people and just kind of gave the money to him. So once we move past that, we need to stop wasting our tax money and take care of Americans, which sounded good. But once we started using all the tax money on him, to me, it kind of lost its value, because he's spending a lot of U.S. tax dollars on himself. And that, I'd rather we risk sending the money to some poor kid laying on a desert floor with flies on his face, hoping to get a little bit of wheat and grain, as opposed to giving it to a billionaire to get a better aircraft than Air Force One to fly around in. Go figure. My poll before we go back to the box. Tap the screen, get us on up to 70,000. We can do that. Over 1,000 responded. So this is one of the bigger polls. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, I need you guys to smash that like button. It helps out the algorithm, helps out the show, brings in more MAGA because we want to get more MAGA. So smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube. The poll being, are you better off under President Trump? We got over 1,000 people. So I think I've only had one or two polls where over 1,000 folks responded to it. Over 1,000 respondents so far to the question, are you better off under President Trump? 37% of that 1,000 plus number says yes, they are better off under Trump. 63% say no, they are not better off under Trump. So go figure. And that could be. I mean, listen, if you invest in the stock market, big oil, I mean, there are some areas where you could be better off under Trump for certain, but the 62% makes it clear that the average American is not, or the majority of Americans. Alter ego, yeah! Somebody showing some love to the program with the hat and mustache. Thank you very much. Yeah, help your boy with the hat and mustache. Certainly the TikTok cap go it too. Show the program some love, if you will. It's fun day at the ABC LGBTQ YMCA. What the fuck? You guys really don't like the transgender community, do you guys? You guys really. And that's why I was talking to someone earlier about the Save America Act. And speaking of which, before I go back to the next caller, I do want to give you a clip in regards to this, what I'm about to discuss, before I go down that road myself, because I think this makes a lot of sense. This is in regards to Trump promoting the Save America Act. I think this makes a lot of sense. This is it Senator? Tillis is a senator, right?
The United States, like CEOs that I've advised before. Mr. President, these people are misleading you if they're telling you that this can be implemented by November. The only thing that will occur is an undermining of the election integrity, the integrity of our elections right now.
Now he's talking about the Save America Act. He's saying that he's telling the president, if people are telling you this can be implemented by November, they're lying to you. I'll play a little bit more of this, but I want you to hear it.
Mr. President, these people are misleading you if they're telling you that this can be implemented by November. The only thing that will occur is an undermining of the election integrity, the integrity of our elections right now. So, folks, from North Carolina, our state motto is Esse quam vadere, to be rather than to seem. This seems like a legit proposal, but it isn't. And it hasn't been for the last year, because you couldn't have gotten it done with 10,000 election entities if we'd passed it last July. So let's be honest with the American people. Let's focus on getting every state to have an ID. Let's provide funding that lets the states opt into it in terms of audits. But let's stop the charade. Let's stop the distraction. Let's get the government funded. Let's use reconciliation if we need to, but let's not clog it up with another piece of policy airdrop by a member of the Senate or the White House that will undermine this bill.
I agree with him. I absolutely agree with him. Is that there's no way you could pass the Save America Act and have it up and fully running by November. It's just too fucking close. It is just way too close. People would be trying to get all sorts of documents via mail and things like that. And I always use the example, you're going to have a lot of government offices, whether people trying to get their hands on social security numbers, passports, state offices trying to get people's birth certificates out to them, and I suppose a variety of churches and everything trying to get people their marriage certificates to prove why they're using their maiden name. And what you're going to have is a lot of people saying, we normally get 10,000 requests per month for birth certificates, or our church hasn't received more than 5 requests for marriage certificates. We suddenly got 100 last week. Or we suddenly got 1 million requests for birth. We don't have the manpower to get all this stuff out in this time. I mean, we haven't hired anybody to do all this stuff. So, yeah, I absolutely believe that causing the voting public to all be scurrying for documents, it's only like 3 months and something now. It's only a little bit, 3 months and some odd days before the midterms take place. And there are some states that have early voting. I think Utah, there's some states out there that have early voting, so for them it's even closer. There's not enough time for it. Now, I do believe there are parts of the Save America Act that I think are valid. I absolutely believe you should have to have an ID to vote. I believe all 50 states, if you vote, you should be required by law to present an ID. I don't see any problem with that at all. I just believe it should be given to you for free. That's it. When you go and upgrade your driver's license or you upgrade your state ID, they can tell if you're a citizen or not when you go to the DMV, and they should stamp that on your license. And you can vote with that. And they should allow you to vote with that. Simple as that. In fact, because the law says you can't have polling taxes. And then, Cal, I tried to bring you up on Instagram. You didn't, I don't know what happened, but I think that because the law says you can't impose a fee for somebody to vote. Voting is a right. It's not a privilege. I think that anybody that requests an ID to vote should be granted by the government that ID for free. There's no excuse for why the government can't do that. To print out a plastic ID with a little bit of data imposed on it, or a digital image of maybe your face or fingerprint or something, in bulk, those things probably cost $0.25 or less. So anybody that wants to vote, and if you don't want their license or their state ID to do it, or they don't have that, they should be able to request a free ID from the government, and the government should send it out. Period. There you go. Everybody got state ID. Give them the ID for free. But I strongly believe this should not be implemented until 2028. You need time to get out the bells and whistles, and cross all the T's and dot all the I's. It's not enough time to do all of that, which is why you hear Tillis saying that you're just going to fuck with the integrity of the election doing it this close. You're going to have a whole lot of people saying I'm a legitimate voter and they didn't take my vote because I didn't receive my passport in time, or my ID got lost in the mail. It's too close. It's too close. I don't think you're going to prevent undocumented or folks who shouldn't be allowed to vote from voting as much as you're going to prevent legitimate voters from casting their votes. It's just way too close. And last but not least, there's two things in the Save America Act that I absolutely believe shouldn't be in there to begin with. And that is biological males in women's sports and children getting gender assigned surgery. Now, fact is, I agree with both of those. I don't believe biological males should be playing in women's sports. I absolutely agree with banning that. And I don't believe a juvenile should be able to get, gender reassigning surgery either. I agree with both of those being banned. I just don't believe they should be in a voter bill. You can live out your I hate the transgender community fantasies in a different piece of legislation. Do not put that in a bill that's designed to protect the integrity of voting. Do that in something else. Just pass that as standalone legislation. That should not be in the Save America Act. So those are the things I would suggest. Get out the I hate transgender shit. Do that in a separate act. Give out the IDs for free. Require an ID to vote. I'm 100% behind that. Require an ID to vote. And of course, do it after 2028. Do it for the national election in 2028. And I'll just say this before I start taking the next callers. Because a lot of folks on the right is, why do you guys have a problem? Why do you liberals have a problem with requiring an ID? And you guys are just trying to cheat and all that. Me as a liberal, I don't have a problem with it. My humble opinion, Trump has a lot to do with the resistance to it. I just believe that he is a really, really bad messenger for anything concerning voter integrity. He's been caught in lies about the last election, the way he handled the election with Biden as well. He's been claiming, fraud without proof in many elections, up to and including the election with Dr. Oz versus Fetterman. Now, he was campaigning for Dr. Oz in that Senate election and was saying that there was widespread fraud in Pennsylvania. And even Dr. Oz came out and said, there's nobody committing fraud here. So he does not make a good messenger for any piece of voter legislation. If the Save America Act was trying to be, if Biden or Bush or Obama was trying to pass it, I think they would have had a lot more success. He is a bad messenger for that. because a lot of people do not believe his intentions are pure. They believe he is trying to get the Save America Act passed for a different agenda that has nothing to do with free and fair elections, but rather to benefit his side of the aisle. So he is a bad messenger for that. But I'm okay with trying to do it in 2028, plus or minus a few things as I mentioned. Looking in the comments though, women's sports, women's restrooms. Okay, we've kind of went over that already. Tim's liberals ruined the NFL. The NFL, what? Tim liberals, you saying liberals have ruined the NFL, the NBA, the Boy Scouts, and at least nines. You think the NFL is ruined? If you look up the top 10 most watched programs in America for 2020, any year, the NFL is going to have multiple programs in that list. Most of their games are, the Super Bowl is still the most watched thing, probably right up there with the World Cup, I would assume. But the NFL is by no means ruined. I don't know what would make you say the NFL has been ruined. That's crazy. Same thing with the NBA. Yeah, you got some wild opinion in suggesting that the NFL and the NBA has been ruined. I don't know about the Boy Scouts, but I'll tell you one thing. For you to say the liberals ruined the Boy Scouts, the conservatives ruined the Catholic Church, and the Boy Scouts have done a lot of the same stuff. So I question whether the Boy Scouts were not already ruined before the liberals came out. But the NFL, that is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The NFL and the NBA are not ruined. You just don't like a little bit of the shit. I don't see where you're getting that they're ruined from. Ain't no one watching women's sports ever, and that ain't true either. You guys think that must think the world revolves around you. The WNBA, for instance, a lot of people are watching that. If you look at the earnings of the WNBA, certainly since Caitlin Clark became a player, that's went up dramatically. People are watching that. Let me go to the box. We'll try it out once again with Dencal, and if it brings them up, otherwise we'll go to another call. We tried it on Instagram. I don't know if it's going to bring Dencal up. Go, Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening.
Hey, so I saw you in the comments. Take it you had a little bit of a disagreement with what MAGA Reacts was saying about the Taliban and their success in Afghanistan.
Yeah, he was talking as if he was some strategic expert in military operation.
Well, he's trying to suggest that Trump negotiated with the army of Afghanistan, and the only reason the Taliban is in control is because Biden took over and he didn't do things right.
Yeah, look, that's pretty much the stupidest thing I ever heard about this. It's too much information out there about this.
Yeah.
We know what Trump said before it all went down. He said the Afghans were not making any progress and we were getting the hell out of there.
Yeah.
He did not say anything about helping them. That's why he negotiated with only the Taliban.
I don't think anybody, unless other than I guess MAGA Reacts, I don't think anybody expected that if Trump had won in 2020, he was going to continue providing air support to Afghanistan. Nobody. When we left, we were leaving. We were not going to continue a hands-off approach no matter what.
And that's why the Afghanis gave up, because once they lost all of our support, they knew that, like you said, they let go of these thousands of Afghan hardliners. These Taliban hardliners. They knew the gig was up. And I'm tired of people running out here keep saying, why do we leave them so much stuff? They forget that we was over there for almost 20 years. We had given them things over the years, but we had our own stuff that we used to protect our bases. Mm-hmm. When we finally left, the stuff that we had, we disabled. Those helicopters, those Humvees, we got rid of all of the radars, anything that could have allowed them to actually use the stuff in combat. So yes, they did parade those helicopters for propaganda to say, look what we got.
Yeah.
They had no part support for that stuff. They could not even use the stuff. It looked good for them, the Taliban, to say, look what we got. But all of it's in the after action report. We disabled and took out all important components from that equipment that we left. And that is what we do. We leave shit. We don't take it. We don't take it to another place, and no, we don't do that. We leave the shit.
Yeah, I think it's because you like people always talk about the budget. If you don't spend the budget, you don't get it next year. So if you actually sell the stuff like he was talking about, where you could fly the copters to somewhere else and sell them and shit like that, no, you already got a budget for next year. You don't need to do that.
They should see the kind of stuff we throw out from a naval perspective. This type of stuff after we come from a war zone, the type of stuff we throw overboard just because we don't bring back shit from full combat.
Wow, you don't throw over like whole aircraft, do you?
Well, I haven't been on the. No, we don't throw out aircraft. But we get rid of so much stuff. It's hard to understand, but there is a policy where we just don't bring certain things back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I've heard that before. I'm obviously not military, and I've said that, but I've heard. I mean, because we left a lot of shit in Iraq too. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you got to remember some of the stuff we gave to them. Over the years we gave to them. We did not take that stuff back from the Afghanis. But any of the stuff that we had, we disabled, or we made sure that they could not use it in combat.
Yeah. So in other words, MAGA didn't know what he was talking about.
He definitely didn't, and he had the nerve to bring up the damn Ukraine and stuff. Listen, both of those deals were bad. We did the same. Trump did the same shit with both of them. He dealt with the adversary. He dealt with the enemy instead of our adversaries. He dealt with Russia instead of Ukraine, which was supposed to be on our side. He dealt with the Taliban instead of the Afghan government, who was supposed to be on our side. Both deals were messed up, and he tried to use it as an example. No, that's a bad example.
Yeah, I actually was on Trump's side when it came to dealing with the Russians instead of Ukraine. I actually thought, because Trump has had a long-standing relationship with Putin, I thought he would do significantly better in honoring his promise to end the Russian-Ukraine war. There's no way I would have expected, what are we now, almost 2 years into his term, for that war to be going on at the level it's still going. I mean, he's done a really bad job at that. And even though I didn't vote for Trump, I thought he would be doing a better job at ending that Russian-Ukraine war. With all of the, I'll end it in 24-hour promises and stuff that he made, I expected better.
I mean, look, I'm not necessarily an international strategist when it comes to wars and stuff, but Trump, he miscalculated on both conflicts. I guess he didn't believe that Zelensky was going to be strong enough.
Yeah.
So he dealt with Russia, but now where we at?
I think it's and I agree with that. I think and I've heard this from MAGA too. I think the mindset of American superiority is what's getting us in trouble. The whole, we don't need anybody, America first, we don't need NATO. We could easily take out Venezuela, we could easily take out Iran. We just have this mindset of we're so superior, we can do all this shit by ourselves, and it keeps going wrong. That's why I don't think Trump requested any help from any allies going into Iran. We didn't need them. We could easily handle them. And this stuff is continuing to go wrong.
But the people that know better have all been removed.
Yeah.
There was those generals that were there in his first term who told them, no, sir, we will not be pulling out our troops in 3 weeks or 3 days.
Yeah.
We cannot do it. Those people are no longer there. So you got people like Kegsbreath over there saying, we gonna do it all. We gonna get rid of some of our most talented people who have trained, who have studied what we have done. They're going to replace it with the opinions of Pete and Steve Miller and Trump. And that's why all of the people that was in the government, they have told him what would happen if he did what he did in Iran. And it's all coming to fruition.
Speaking of Hegseth, I know you said Kegsbreath. Speaking of Hegseth, he's going to be apparently testing the troops for testosterone levels.
Yes.
What? What do you think is that? What is he trying to do? What are you trying to create macho men? He be listening to YMCA too much or something?
He said it's all about lethality. I guess he want everybody to. He's gonna start making everybody train like Navy SEALs next time. Like the military is not what it used to be back in the day. We don't. You see now, we don't do
Hand to hand. We're not hand to hand. I think he thinks we're in the era of Braveheart.
right. My whole thing is, why are you gonna test all of these people? These hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of people for testosterone, but then say if it shows that it's low, you can opt in to go into replacement therapy. Like if it's not mandatory, why are you making people take a damn test for it?
Well, if it ain't mandatory, I guess that they may not require you to get, I guess, testosterone injections or however they put it in you, but they may kick you out of the military.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna say what they can't do because they kicking them out for having bumps on their chin.
You know something, to be honest with you, and I know what you're talking about, the razor bumps that addresses mainly minorities, people of color. But to me, and I hate always using this man's name in conjunction with the Trump administration, but this stuff sounds Hitler-like. Like you're trying to create perfect soldiers. I mean, it does. I mean, okay, you want them to look a certain way, you want them to act a certain way. I mean, some are suggesting you want a lot of them to be white. Now you want them to have a man testosterone. I mean, it sounds like some crazy version of eugenics beginning. Like you trying to create a certain type of person.
Right, and then you see him. Did you see him doing his workout?
Yeah, he couldn't do the pull-ups.
He need to be checked for low T.
Yeah, that's
horrible, man.
I can't imagine you testing people. Well, I guess that would guarantee all the transgender people for certain are gone if they going after you for your testosterone and shit. I mean, that's just, I don't know. I don't see any. If I'm sitting in a fucking cabin in the middle of Nevada flying a drone over the Middle East, why do I need to have more testosterone? I mean, if I'm flying an F-15, do I really need testosterone? I mean, like, it's
sitting on the ship. If you on the ship in the Combat Information Center, and you pushing a button to,
right. You don't need. Yeah. It's one thing if you're going house to house in Fallujah, I could get it. But a lot of the stuff that is being done, especially all the high-tech shit, is all hands off.
We did house to house in Fallujah without knowing nobody's testosterone level.
Yeah.
How is that going to make us more lethal by knowing, hey, bro, you about 0.5 off on your testosterone. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get that shot today.
And you know the crazy thing is Jesse Waters of Fox News, on the 5, he said something that I don't know if I think he was saying it as a joke, but I don't know if he realized how bad it was. But he was saying once the testosterone, he's like, the Asian women and these women in these ports, y'all better watch out. Indicating that our testosterone-laden males might be, he made it sound like they may be capable of sexually assaulting women and shit. They're just gonna turn into a bunch of horny-ass guys. Like, do you realize what you're saying, dude?
Do you understand what that's going to do for the leadership? To have a whole bunch of subordinates, your junior sailors and soldiers coming out there, hype the fuck up while you trying to train them. We might have to go back to hands-on training in the military now.
Yeah, that to me, that just from generations past. If we're truly in the trenches, like I said, Braveheart style type shit. Yeah, testosterone may be something you need, but in a high-tech environment like the Ukrainians, for instance, all that shit is with drones and stuff. You don't need a lot of testosterone to fly a drone.
Testosterone does not decide how good of a fighter you're going to be. It doesn't decide none of that. It's your training. We don't know what the damn testosterone of the Navy SEALs or the Army Rangers or none of that shit is. Their training is what makes them lethal, not because they, what I'm saying, because people's testosterone may go up and down. I'm not sure about how that actually works.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think they're targeting testosterone to increase your bravado, to remove cowardice. You know, they want you to be, you know, have that, you know, ego where, you know, you just always are, you know, willing to take it to the top. I think they're going for bravado.
Right, but you do not need that in a technical military
No, you don't.
position.
You don't. Yeah, you don't.
You need somebody that's going to be able to think clearly and execute what they have been taught. It's got nothing to do with bravado. It's going to make it harder for the senior people to train the young people if everybody hyped up on some shit.
That makes sense to me. So let me ask you in regards to the current war we're dealing with. How do you think this is going to end? I mean, you know, Trump has made it clear, you know, we won in the first few hours. He's made statements like it'll be over in 2 to 4 weeks, and their navy's at the bottom of the ocean, and we can fly over their country and do anything we want. They can't stop us. He's made a lot of those statements, and yet we're still at war as if it's day one. So obviously Trump is painting a rosy picture than what we're actually seeing. But where do you think this is headed? Do we just leave eventually, or are we actually going to really put boots on the ground? Now I know you were one of the first to say boots on the ground was not going to happen. Have you changed on that?
I went from 100% down to 75%.
Wow.
I do, because they're doing what all of the professionals have said. They're going to stall. They're going to make a deal. Not going to live up to the deal. They're going to go back. This is what they do. This is what the Persians do. They're great negotiators. They will play this out. You see what they did in Afghanistan and Iraq. They played it for 20 years.
But here, I hate to sound like I'm defending the fucking Iranians, but I want to say something, because this is something you hear a lot from particularly folks on the right, but on the left as well. How, like you just said, you can't trust the Iranians. They stall. They don't honor the deals. I don't see any difference between them and us right now, Dencal. Once Trump decided to just trash the Obama deal, a deal they legitimately made with America, to me, that shows that we can't be trusted either.
True. What you're saying is absolutely correct. The difference is they've had a thousands of year history of doing it.
Oh.
We've just started doing it.
Bullshit. We have been the term Indian giver was created because of all the deals we broke with the Native Americans. We've been breaking deals since day one.
Well, I'll just say the image that's been portrayed in America is that America stands by its word. Now we know that's
a lie. Yeah, that's a lie.
Talking about I don't know how the Persians, the Americans, they might think of us the same way. Is these motherfuckers just gonna bully people? They never gonna live up to their word. They always gonna go back on what they said. I don't know, because I can only think, I only know from an American perspective.
Okay.
So,
yeah, because
I say it's definitely true. Like we've been reneging on shit from day one.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that you can't trust the Iranians and that we got the moral high ground. I see in the comments Tanaj says, Tim, the Iranians are not the villains in this whole thing. They were attacked by Israel in Trump. Do you see it like that, Dencal, that the Iranians are really more of the victims in this as opposed to the villains?
I don't know that I would necessarily call them victims. I would say they were equal participants in the bullshit, because
they got attacked.
They did get attacked, but all of this is not just a single incident. This starts back from what they consider biblical days all the way up to this point. We know this has a lot to do with in the 1940s when they put the J people in what used to be Palestine.
Right.
And that is what Iran has been fighting against this whole time, using their proxies. So now their proxies do October 10th, or what was it, October 10th or whatever?
October 7th.
October 7th. And people don't understand that they think it all started on October 7th.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, Israel has not been a good neighbor. I know what you're saying. The Iranians were upset with us giving that territory to them back in the 1940s after World War II. And yeah, Israel has not been good neighbors in that region. I mean, because when you look at the amount of territory the Palestinians, there are really old maps you can go and find, and you can see how much of that area they used to call Palestine versus how much of it is now. They pretty much have nothing. The Israelis pretty much took their whole country.
Now they're moving up into Lebanon, and then they've got this whole deal where they've got people called settlers that they just, when they bomb an area or take it over, people just go and just find houses and just set up shop and just start living there.
So you can kind of understand a little bit why there's so much such an unwelcoming committee to the Israelis. I mean, they have not been good neighbors. They have not been trying to get along with their neighbors. I mean, I agree there's been some angry Muslims in the area that's been doing, overstepping their bounds as well, but it ain't like the Israelis have been the good guys in this stuff.
Right. And, but now that I think more about it, they're more of a victim because we know that Trump went in there talking that shit about they was 2 weeks from having the bomb, and if we didn't go in there, like, we all know that that's bullshit now.
Well, no, we don't. MAGA still believes that Trump was right. MAGA still believes that we stopped Iran from developing a bomb, and they were going to use it on us in a week or two. MAGA still believes that.
I can't. It's kind of hard having a conversation about a MAGA mentality because we know that they don't have a delivery method to get it over here. So just to keep on saying if somebody got something that they was going to use it was the same thing we said about North Korea. It was the same thing we said back in the day before India or Pakistan. Anybody who gets it, the threat is they're so crazy they just gonna use it as soon as they get it. That's just not the reality. Like, they were not going to use a nuclear bomb in a country that close to them. Yeah. They wasn't going to use it at all. They just want to protect themselves from people like us.
The crazy thing is we keep saying all of these rogue countries are going to get a nuclear bomb and use it, and yet we're the only country that seems to keep developing weapons and using them. The mother of all bombs and shit, like we did 2 months. It's at war somewhere. The F-35, how long has that been around? It's been in wars already. F-22, it's been in wars already. We're the ones that are developing weapons and using them.
And they're talking about using them like it's some novice. Like, we're gonna go ahead and try out the Moab, the mother of all bombs, and see if it can reach down there. And it's hard to say these things without MAGA wanting to try to say like we hate the country, even though we just telling the truth about our past and our history. They don't like to hear that. They just like to hear the good parts about.
Yeah, because Cedric's in the comments saying, well, what the fuck we build them for then? So why would we build them if we ain't gonna use them on people? I gotta move it on, but you're right. You called it, and he said it immediately after you said that. So it's plenty of that. Thank you.
But did you know that Trump put the 50% tariffs on Canada
for the fires?
I'm assuming
for the fires. I know he talked. I heard him talk about. We did a live this weekend where he was talking about doing that. I didn't know he actually officially did it, but all of that shit amounts to is market manipulation. He's making more money. Once they make their money, he gonna remove those tariffs.
Oh yeah. They also resisted. They resisted that deal for that bridge. It's a bridge that goes from
between Windsor. Yeah, Windsor.
Yeah. Not the ambassador. That's the original one. It's the Gordie Howe Bridge.
Right.
Trump's buddy used to own the rights for the ambassador bridge. So they know Gordie Howe Bridge was going to be competition, and it was mostly paid for by the Canadians. So Trump has been resisting opening up the new bridge.
Right.
He came up with himself some grand deal where we get to share the proceeds in America. And Canada said, no, you're not. You can start sharing the profits once we get all of our money back.
Mm-hmm.
So they rejected it. So this might have something to do with that he doesn't like that they rejected him.
I'm just going to say, for a man that we once bragged about, he's not taking a salary. He has his own money and he can't be bought. He's coming across to me, from what I'm seeing, as the most greediest guy I've ever seen. Like, you're 80 years old, you got billions of dollars, and most of the stuff you're doing is involved in making you or somebody else money. Like, making America great. Like, damn, y'all got way more than enough money.
Hey, before I go, when they asked him about it, they was like, you've been making a lot of money. He just said, how much money? He made them say the $2 billion. He said, oh, well, you know, the stock market and everything, everybody's making money.
Yeah, I saw him say that everybody's profiting, because everybody ain't fucking profiting. Cal, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
You too. In the comments, Hegseth and Trump equals dead U.S. soldiers. These two are not tactical by any means. Wow. There is no Department of War. Changing the name of the Department of Defense was illegal. Well, look, we've been at war with Iran since late February. The end of the second month. This is coming up on the end of the seventh month. So it's been 5 straight months. Congress hasn't approved this. This would be an illegal war, would it not? I mean, this is not a war that was, Trump didn't go to Congress. All of this is being done by one man. He did all this by himself. Oh, I mean, at this point, I don't know what we can say what Trump can and can't do, because he's shown he can do quite a bit on his own. His mentality isn't stable. Well, MAGA thinks he's doing a great job, so that's what we're dealing with. Tap the screen. Help your boy out with the TikTok cap goal, if you will. In the comments, real quick before we move on, paid off to ignore murdering American journalist. You talking about Khashoggi? Yeah, it's crazy how our relationship and our view of Muslim nations changed under Trump so much. Trump started out as a guy who was literally calling for a total and complete ban on all Muslims coming into the country. And now he's doing nothing but deal after deal with Muslim countries. And it really ain't for the betterment of the United States, it's for the betterment of him. I mean, that Qatar jet, there's nothing beneficial to the United States about that Qatar jet. That's him. And, Jared Kushner, they're doing all kinds of shit with it. In fact, Trump is more friendlier to Muslim nations than he is to European nations at this point. But it's because they are enriching him. He's making a bunch of money off of them. I don't see how that's making America great, though. But it is making Trump financially a powerhouse. In the comments, you're talking about the Epstein war. I don't know. Trump delusional narcissist. Somebody said in the comments, says Charlie, I've always said we are going to end up having to put boots on the ground. You did say that, conservative. That's possible, because Trump's methods are not working with the Iranians. He is not having his way with the Iranians. There's only so much you can do from the air. Not to mention that stuff that we're using to bomb them from the air. This is a super expensive war. What we're doing with the Iranians is we will know the truth if the Democrats win the House in November. Once they start coming, it's going to be some staggering numbers. There's a lot of stuff, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. I think that the Trump administration is giving us a rosy picture when reality is a lot darker. The cost, I don't even believe the casualty number we're getting is accurate. They're telling us 18 dead so far. I don't believe that number. I believe the number's higher than that. I believe all you hear is about America successfully hit targets in Iran. They struck back and we shot everything they fired down. I don't believe we're shooting all their shit down. I believe some of their stuff is getting through. And I believe casualties and people are getting injured that we're not really being told about. I think that Trump is, since day one, he's been painting a rosy picture. We'll be done in 2 to 4 weeks. We won in the first hour. He's been constantly painting this as a complete form of dominance from the United States. But you can clearly see we're not dominating them. The Strait of Hormuz, they've been shutting that down constantly. I mean, so the level of dominance that Trump is telling us is not actually accurate. Blue One Banks. Thank you. Appreciate that. Blue One Banks with the TikTok caps, plural. Appreciate you for the support. Trump attacked a school, killing over 1,500 from U.S. bombs. Huh? 1,500? What are you talking about? Thank you, Blue One Banks. In the comments, God bless the USA, go Trump. JC rules, just saying, says Samuel. These nuts. Well, Trump is our president, but I see in the comments also Mr. Whoa Now says, fuck MAGA fascists. Yeesh. MAGA is stupidity as fuck. Can't count, says 2026. He's not in his own, fuck out of here. Trump is the best at eating Big Macs and can drink a Diet Coke really well. Eesh. Let me go back to the box. Your thank you seem to be lagging, Shanti. Thank you, Shanti. What am I thanking you for? I didn't see anything there. And I thank you, Giant Robot. I definitely seen that. Trump, best president ever, says Stacks Klein. Best on what? I'm willing to have a conversation in regards to where Trump may be succeeding, but best ever? That's at this point, based on the metrics of President Trump, the performance of President Trump nearly halfway through his term, I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, anyone suggesting that Trump is the best president ever, that he's the GOAT, greatest of all time, I'm just going to view you as a troll. You're just trolling at that point. There's no way in hell any knowledgeable American voter would look at the performance of Trump and say he's the best president we've ever had. Based on what is it? Give me one thing that Trump has done that would put him in that category. Even if you think he's a good president, we can debate that. But best ever? Not even close. I don't even think he wouldn't even be in the top 5. Best ever? Bullshit. I mean, he hasn't really done anything compared to defeating Hitler, giving women the right to vote, ending slavery, giving folks civil rights, defeating the Soviet Union, tearing down the Berlin Wall. He sending a man to the moon. What has Trump done to put him in that category? What has he done that 50, 100 years from now, we'll be talking about that's so great? And I'm going to put emphasis on great because I do believe Trump will be talked about 50 years from now, but I don't think it's going to be in a positive aspect. I think it'll be January 6th, multiple impeachments, first felon to run the White House, first president with a mugshot, first president to have his home raided. It'll be shit like that. He's one of the only presidents that's ever been divorced. I don't think it'll be anything to indicate he's the best of all time. But let me know. Help correct me. He says Big Beautiful Bill. Yeah. Let me go back to the box. We'll go to, I think it says Dark One. Not sure Dorothy Trump can't even form a proper sentence. Dark, good evening.
We're not even gonna play the theme music too loud. We let it calm down today.
Well,
hey man,
I want to before you speak, because we talking about the best president ever. In the comments, Moran says the greatest president was President Dwayne Elizondo, Mountain Dew, Herbert Kamau. Who the fuck is all that? So, what were you about to say there, King?
I was about to say the only thing that Trump is the best at is conning motherfuckers. He's the best con man we've ever seen in American history.
How is he conning?
Nobody else.
What is
Nobody
he?
Else.
I gotta ask, because folks, my MAGA side is going on. What has he done? What is making you say he conned someone?
He's conned the American people. MAGA is a cult. We all know this. He's conned these ignorant motherfuckers into being okay with him taking billions of dollars out of their pocket and putting it in his. He's conned these people into believing that he is actually on their side. Therefore, this stupid motherfucker stood up in front of those 1,500 people on January 6th and told them, go to the Capitol and stop the stealing. I'm going with you. And went home and had a dance party eating Big Macs. He's conned everybody into believing he's an actual president when he is actually just a shit stain on the American history. He is con motherfuckers like MAGA Reacts, Cedric Haney, Pizza Lover, Bake Boss into believing that he gives a flying fuck about them. Your bank account ain't big enough, baby boy. You ain't got enough money for him to care about you. He don't give a fuck about you.
But
What the fuck you mean?
Slanging and banging in the comments says Trump had done better than any Democrat. So I guess
Prove that shit. Prove it.
Well, I mean,
Don't just say it. Prove that shit. Tell him to bring the fucking proof. Where? What concept of a health plan does he have? What about that 1500% motherfucking reduction on prescriptions? Where's that at? What about the 90 days and the 90 deals in 90 days? Where's that at? Wait a minute. Where's that Doge check? Where's that tariff check at? The businesses got theirs.
that's not what they're, but well, maybe that's not what they're judging them on. Like Handsome Conservative says, Trump closed the border and built the wall. That is a huge accomplishment for MAGA. For MAGA, hold on, hang on a second. I've talked to a lot of MAGA on, in regards to what Trump has done, really good. In my opinion, based on what I've heard and all of the MAGA I've talked to, President Trump sealing the border and getting immigrants out is actually more valuable to them than actually a good economy. They really place a high value on what he's done on the border.
Tim, is the border closed?
In their eyes, it is.
No, it's not closed. There are hundreds of points of entry. And the one thing that
It's certainly more secure than Biden, though.
Come on, Tim.
You cannot be trying. Wait. You trying to convince me that the border is no more secure under Trump than it was under Biden? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm not trying to convince you of shit. What I'm trying to do is get you to understand the fucking real, definite reality. The border is not closed. The only thing he did was turn black and brown people away, start making it harder for people to get in through asylum, and fucking put a private police force out in the streets on American citizens to do harm. That is not closing the border. That is fucking firing. That's fucking friendly fire. And it's not even friendly.
Let me tell you why I believe the border is significantly more secure under Trump. Because Trump is a huge deterrent. The immigrant world knows that under Trump, you may come to America illegally and get killed. So the incentive to not come to America, even if the border had no security whatsoever, you're going to have far less immigrants coming in this country under Trump than you do under Biden, because they know you got a guy here now that is in control and genuinely does not like you. You may literally lose your life entering America illegally. So I'm absolutely sure the border is more secure under Trump. The deterrent is off the chain.
Well, you can think what you want. I'm not trying to sway your opinion. Okay. I can really give less than a fuck. I'm not MAGA's Reacts. Because I actually do read and I actually do research what the fuck I'm talking about.
So you still think just as many folks are coming here illegally under Trump as they were under Biden?
No, I don't. Because people are being thrown the fuck out or detained, not deported because of Trump. Look, that dude's a baby, a fucking toddler with a shit stand and a diaper. He has a continence nurse that walks around with him all the time. She's the one that carries that leather bag. Y'all keep believing that this motherfucker has anything good for you. And you can do that. That's fine. But when he gets kicked the fuck out in November and we actually get to see his ass walk the fuck out the White House, which is still a hole.
That can't happen. Wait. What the hell are you talking about? First of all, he's not going to get kicked out in November. What are you talking about?
He's gone. That motherfucker's about to get evicted. He's about to get fucked up. Y'all keep believing it ain't going to happen if you want to. I don't really give a shit.
Hold on. Let me say a few things. First, and thank you for the hat mustache, Mike, the sailor. Appreciate it. First of all, if the Democrats win the House and Senate in November, they don't become senators and congresspeople to January. So that's the first thing. Second thing is it takes time to go through the impeachment process and do all the shit you're discussing. So you really think if the Democrats win the House and Senate, they're going to kick Trump out of the seat?
Oh, hell yeah. He's got to go. I'm sorry, he got to go. You might want your personal savior to stay in there all for the rest of that time, but I personally believe that everybody and someone in the Senate, someone in the House is working on a fast track bill that's going to get voted on in mid fucking January. That's going to snatch his ass right the fuck up out of there like he's supposed to. go to the fucking trash can with all his diapers and his continent nurse. And I personally hope, this is just my fucking dream here, that they Article 2 Section 4 his whole fucking administration, and all of them fucking idiots gotta walk out of here. Then what's MAGA gonna do?
Can this country survive what you're talking about?
I don't know, but we survived January 6th, didn't we?
That ain't nothing compared to what you're talking about.
So what? Look, him, his support administration, and all of these idiots in MAGA can go to whatever fucked up little island to go to, and we can go back to being America.
Well, you would.
This shit was just fucked up before him and all these little idiots that he employs came.
Well, you would get J.D. Vance as the commander-in-chief, so you're not going to get rid of J.D. Vance.
I don't want J.D. Vance mascara couch fucking ass either.
It's not your decision, King. The people voted Trump and J.D. Vance in office. It's the people disagree with you.
Sir, no, the people didn't vote J.D. Vance, and no, the people didn't vote the shit tater and the mask and air man in. Fucking Elon Musk did. That's why Elon finna be up on charges.
Oh my God. So what? You sound worse than Trump when it comes to getting revenge. So what are you gonna do? Take revenge on Trump's whole administration?
This isn't revenge. This is righting the ship. You do realize that, right? This is not revenge. This is righting the ship, correcting the fucking course of this country. This country is on a fucking spiral into the shithole. The same shithole that he said were other countries. That's what he's made it. Name another reason why can't nobody find a fucking job. Name another reason why we barely have the right shit that we need to farm food. Name another reason why we can't get rid of these fucked up ass diseases left and right. Because this idiot fucked up the FDA.
Maybe it's because Trump won, King. Listen to this. Giant Robot says, I give it to Trump. I give it up to Trump. He successfully divided the Democrat Party. That's how he's won. He's saying that your side of the aisle is not even unified anymore.
I don't think that's true. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm okay with it not being unified. That's okay. We can agree to disagree. The problem is that there's this other party of fucking idiots who walk around with a red hat on like lemons screaming Trump. See, the idea of democracy was never for everybody to agree. The idea of democracy was for everybody to be able to talk about it and agree to fucking disagree. That's why you had the Conservative Party. That's why you had the Democratic Party. That's why you had the Independent Party. So that everybody can line up and have a discussion.
Oh.
But when you're not doing that, you have more people over on one side yelling, oh, fuck all that. Trump, that's our God. He was brought by Jesus. He's going to save this country. That's where you fuck up.
Well, they do believe it's brought by Jesus.
You cannot have a simple conversation with somebody without them fucking, oh my God, fucking railing and foaming at the fucking mouth about some idiot who don't give a fuck about them. That's where you fuck up. Name another president that's had this type of division. Please, I'll wait.
Well, it ain't necessarily the division. Trump also made a huge promise that people really like. I'll give you an example of it.
So much you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much. I love you all.
So
we're gonna win so much.
So we got a guy who's in charge who makes it clear we're going to be winning so much that they're going to get tired of it. So apparently they're tired of winning.
So name something we're winning at right now.
They're winning at making the liberals cry. Like here's a good example. Moran in the comment. Hold on, I'm going to respond to you. Moran says, hold on, I'm going to do that, bro. Moran says, bro, the Democrats couldn't even impeach his ass the first term. Even if they sweep the House and Senate, they ain't doing shit this term either. That's winning. That's what he's saying. Trump is going to win no matter what. You're going to get tired of winning. You're going to do so much winning. You're going to say, I'm tired of winning.
So again, instead of you showing out and trying to show your ass, name something that we're winning.
They're winning at making liberals cry. They're winning at preventing. I'm giving them to you. You just ain't accepting it.
Maybe you missed the question. See, because we as a country are not winning at anything. Now, maybe you didn't understand the question. See, I said we, because is he not supposed to be the president of the United States? Just the president of MAGA?
Well, he never.
Name something that we are winning at as a country.
We are winning at securing the border. We are winning at preventing a weapon. How about that? We are winning at offsetting unfair other countries. That's why we had Liberation Day. We are winning at making NATO pay their military budget. We are winning.
I'm not gangster grandma. You're not gonna gas me up. You can miss me with that.
You asked the question. You asked the question.
Those fucking subjects are we winning at? We don't have any fucking allies in NATO. We ain't winning this fucking war. We're getting dragged by Persia. And it shows you that every day, because of the global fucking gas crisis we are in, we ain't doing shit as a country. The Congress ain't passed not one bill except for that big bill that's fucking up the hospital and everybody's health care. And he ain't doing shit but sitting on his ass, shitting on himself. We ain't winning at nothing, Tim.
Depends on who
There's
you ask.
nothing we're winning at.
Depends on who you ask. We the rap says, who can't find a job? Who can't find food? I think they can find food. He just may not be able to afford it, but I don't know about that. But I'm just simply saying, a lot of folks do believe we're winning, King. They do believe that.
I don't see a lot of folks saying everybody in the country is it. A lot of folks who say, oh yeah, we don't have a housing problem. Yeah, we have 15.1 million houses open and 800,000 people that need a house, but they can't get it. Is that winning?
I don't know, but slanging and banging wants you to, he's telling you, leave the country. We don't want you.
Good. Because I want you to come do it, bitch. I will drop my fucking address. Come make me, bitch. Come make me. I'll wait. Come make me leave.
Well,
please do. I hope you do it expeditiously.
He might just be offering to help you pack. You know, they say
I don't give a fuck what he offering. He can keep my fucking name out his mouth. Keep my name out your mouth and Trump's cocking it. That way you ain't got to worry about it. You can just keep sucking on it.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Fuck out of here, dude.
I'm just saying.
How the fuck are we winning at that? We ain't won a damn thing. We look like idiots on the world stage.
We're winning in regards to protecting women when they go to the bathroom, when they play sports.
Right now?
We're winning in protecting the life of the unborn, trying to live in the womb.
Serious?
I'm just telling you.
I'm not gangster grandma. We're winning.
I'm just telling you.
Because our president is the one who's touching on little kids. Are you fucking serious right now?
I'm just telling you.
We're not winning a fucking thing. We're not winning anything when the women of this country don't have bodily autonomy. How are we winning anything?
Well, the baby's life is being protected.
There are more people being found in trees than you can actually fucking count. There's more.
I'm hearing that. Mike is the one who says that all the time. I have not seen all these stories about men, black men in particular, dangling from trees. I've been hearing you guys say that. You guys got to send me some clips of this.
Oh, I will. Don't worry about it. You'll see. But the point is that shit's still happening. We aren't winning anything. He's winning. And that's what the fuck he was saying in that speech. No matter what the fuck you thought you won, all you're winning is fucking division. You're winning horrible motherfucking stacks. The world is going to look at us like we're complete fucking idiots for the next, I don't know how long. And we're probably, we're winning at? We are winning the lottery of how to lose allies the quickest ever in history. That's what we're winning at.
I'm not a fan of ostracizing our allies.
Then there's that other thing about Russia helping Iran. Did you know that?
Oh, I believe China too. China is helping them too. Yeah.
See, wait. Are those the nations that were supposed to be cool with him?
We're not. We're helping. Wait, hold on. That's just some Trump propaganda. Because fact is, if a nation goes to war against China or a nation goes to war against Russia, America is going to help that nation. We always get involved in proxy wars like that. So the idea that if we go to war with a nation, Russia and China shouldn't help that nation, that's just us trying to say our shit don't stink. Of course they gonna help them. We would do the same thing.
The only thing we're doing is winning at making us look stupid as fuck. So if you want to continue that, that's fine. But me, myself, I would rather focus on making the country what the fuck it was supposed to be. Maybe something like it's supposed to be in its fucking inception. because the Revolutionary War was fought so that we could get a country where taxation without representation didn't happen. I would like to make this country a place where I would be proud to tell my son or my child that they grew up in one of the best countries in the nation, the free world. We can't really say that right now, can we?
I think we still can. I mean, I look. I agree with you that we went backwards under Trump significantly, but I still think it's one of the best. And I've lived in nations I think that are better, but I think that it's still one of the best nations.
Tim, China is leaps and bounds in us in technology and education.
Yeah, but for a citizen, you would rather live in America than China.
There are more than 10 fucking states in this country that are under the level of education that they're supposed to be at.
But still, for a citizen, if you're a citizen with hopes of climbing a social ladder, going from nothing to something, you would rather live in America than China, is what I'm saying.
I don't know if that's actually true.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
All right. I mean, I tend to think so. I still think that the American citizen, even with Trump tackling free speech and all kinds of other shit, I still think that the average American has more freedoms than the average person in China. Because I still think you can criticize Trump, even though he's trying to stop it and make it illegal. You still can get away with criticizing him more than you can Xi Jinping.
This country is closer to fascism than it's ever been.
But they're already there, King. They're not close. They're already there.
Well, the funny part about that is this supposed to be the free country, the free world. So why are we turning it into a fascist country? Ain't that what Antifa means? I'm Antifa, aren't you?
Yeah,
I don't like fascism.
I do not like the direction we're going in regards to the fascist stuff of it, but I still think we're better off currently than the average Chinese. Right now, at least. If it changes, I'll be with you.
We're winning so much. They're still homeless. There's still kids that can't get. There are laws now being made against serving kids food at school. People are running out of shit, but we're winning, right?
I didn't say we were winning.
Winning.
You really don't think the average American is better off than the average Chinese citizen?
The average American. Let me tell you about the average American. The average American still has to work a 40-hour work week and depend on Medicaid to get fucking medication. The average citizen in America still works a 40-hour work week and can't afford fucking rent. The average American works a 40-hour work week and can barely spend time with their children. That has changed over the last 50 fucking years. And the data points plot it all out. And what does it all due to? Capitalism.
Yeah.
That's what it's due to. This is a capitalistic country that is falling way further than what it was ever supposed to fall.
All right, do you fear that we may be taken over by communism, as Trump says?
No. Socialism? Possibly. But communism is just a dumbass fucking word he's using to scare people. Him and Mike Johnson. Oh, they're going to be communists. Trying to take it back to the 50s. The idea that this world, that this country specifically could be communist.
Well, their belief is that any socialist government eventually turns into communism.
Yep, and Trump also shits his pants.
I gotta go. I'll leave it at that, King, as always. Good talking to you, man.
Hey, man.
Appreciate it.
Watch out for the shitty pants, man.
Get the fuck out of here. King it is, folks. Tap the screen, get us up to 110. Tim, come on, man. What am I doing, Chris? I would rather live in America. Yeah, I'm going to pick America over China. Like I said, I've lived in Australia. I would pick Australia over America. I would certainly see New Zealand as competition to America. In fact, I might pick New Zealand over America in many aspects. There are countries that I think that are comparable, or maybe some might even be better than America. I don't think that America's like number one, which is what we're often told. I think America's a great country to live in. I think it's absolutely one of the best ones, but I don't want to say it is the best. It kind of depends on what you judge. They say happiness index. What makes you happy in life? Everybody has a different opinion of that. Capitalism is something we talk about in this country. If making money is your sole focus, perhaps America's the place. You want to open up a business with the greatest chance of success? maybe America is number one at that. But do you want to send your kids to school without fear of them getting shot in class? America's not number one at that. Healthcare, America's not number one at that. Whoa, who did that? Big dog. Hell yeah. Tap that screen. It's good shit. I like house music. There you go. I like that. I appreciate that. Big dog. But yeah, it really depends on what metrics you judge the country by. And when they do what's called a happiness index, lifespan, infant mortality rate, literacy rate. There's a lot of things they factor in when they do a happiness index of different nations. And America's pretty far down the list. And I say that because when I migrated when I left the country, I was looking at countries based on the happiness index, how happy the citizens and things like that were. America's pretty far down the list because that's all we focus on is how much money can I make? A lot of other stuff, if you fall flat on your face, is there any programs to help you get back up? America's not really good at that. So it depends, when they say America's the best country on earth, it depends on what you're judging it by. Certainly, discrimination, racism, and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of high in America compared to some other countries. So it depends on what you're focused on. The way we view religion in this country is far stronger. Most of the countries that rank high on the happiness index, they're not very religious. They're not, because religion brings about judgment, people being judgmental and things like that can make life not as comfortable for minority groups, LGBTQ, stuff like that. So most of the countries that rank high on the happiness index are not very religious countries. In the comments, where is this strange fruit? I've been hearing about it too, Weeda Rebel. I've heard people saying that, African Americans have been found dangling from trees and things like that all over the country. I haven't heard about it. So go figure, but people are making it sound like that there is an increase of people being hung. Looking in the comments, and I would certainly like to hear about it. Tim, you didn't read my super chat message. It was Operation Ajax. I didn't see it, Tanaj. I apologize. That's where the whole issue with the Iranians justifiably hate our government. They were the victims. No, Operation Ajax. I haven't heard that. Look, the way America interferes in the ongoings of countries, it shouldn't surprise anybody that we're hated. I mean, look what we're doing now. We're all the way in the Middle East talking about we're going to be the ones controlling the strait. That is a long way from home. Most of the nations that are in that region are not fucking with Iran and doing all of that. America goes everywhere fucking with people, telling people what they can and can't do. So the world's police, which is something Trump kind of promised that we were going to stop doing. He hasn't stopped it at all. In fact, he picked it up and he grabbed the baton and he's running faster with it, preventing Cuba from receiving oil from Venezuela and taking out the leader of Venezuela and threatening Colombia over here and bombing Syria over there and using bombs because he claims Christians were being persecuted in Nigeria, threatening to go in part to South Africa. I mean, Trump is involved in every damn thing. So you make a lot of enemies doing that. Let me go back to the bombs. Pack the tool and protect yourself for real. It's a good advice, a positive. There ain't no racism in America anymore if there's, say to us all, huh? There ain't no racism in America anymore. If there is, say to us all on which law. You do understand racism doesn't have to be in the law. I mean, if based on what you're saying, the moment they freed African Americans from slavery, the moment slavery ended, where the law said everybody is free, then there was no problem. Even though no one would have wanted to be a black man the day after emancipation. It still was not free, even though the law said you were free. So yeah, you're saying there's no racism because of the law. The laws are only as good as people enforcing them. If people don't enforce the law, then the law is kind of useless. I mean, look what President Trump is doing right now. Congress is not enforcing any of that. So you can have a law, but if they're not enforcing it, it is what it is. Let me go back to the box. They have not freed blacks from slavery. Some would say it may exist by another name, depending on who you ask. I don't know if we got a problem with gangster because there's two accounts or something. We'll go to Claude. Claude, good evening. Well, gangster, you got something? There's two accounts in there for you or something. Must be weird. Claude, good evening.
Hey, I didn't mean to come up. Sorry about that.
Oh, fair enough. Appreciate it, though. Thank you. We'll move it on. Not one Democrat voted for Amendment 13, 14, and 15. Only Republicans, and Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president and what he is known for. Yeah, I don't know if you, look, I hear this all the time. The Republicans were the party of prohibition and the Democrats were the party of slavery. Democrats were the party of the KKK and all of that. All of that's true. But if you look at the Democrat Party and you look at the current Republican Party and you're trying to convince people that those are the same parties that used to exist 10, 15 generations ago, you'd have to be an idiot to believe that. You'd have to be an idiot to believe that the modern KKK supported Kamala Harris and they're rolling with Al Sharpton and they had love for Jesse Jackson and Obama. It's obvious some kind of switch took place. Obvious. The KKK is not supporting a bunch of blue-haired liberals that are pro-trans and all of that shit. That's obviously not happening. So bringing up that the Democrats were the party of KKK, there's no way the KKK is endorsing Mamdani and Bernie Sanders and all that shit. And meanwhile, the Democrat Party, the party of slavery, they were Confederates at the time. The Democrat Party is as anti-Confederate in modern time as they can be. The Republican Party is where you see all the Confederate symbols and statues. They actually fought against the Confederates. And now they're embracing them and talking about how much you should name shit after them. So we can go all the way back to the KKK and slavery, but it's pretty obvious in modern times the parties have switched. You can choose not to believe it if you want, but it's hard to explain why the Republican Party would fight and die against the Confederate South during the slavery era or the civil rights era or the Civil War era rather. And now all of a sudden in modern time, they're walking around waving their flags and shit like that. Why would you be waving a flag of a group of people that killed thousands, tens of thousands of your people? That shows you something, some kind of switch happened. Believe it or not. KKK has been supported by Democrats all along. It was. And who was it that died to free the slaves? It wasn't Democrat. Like I said, you can bring up what the Democrat Party was in the 1800s. That's what you're trying to do. And I suppose you're trying to suggest that the Democrat Party of the KKK is now all of a sudden, the Democrat Party is significantly more diverse than the Republican Party is. Go to any Republican gathering, go to any Democrat gathering, it's pretty clear which party favors diversity. KKK has never been about diversity. You look at how the Republican Party is ran, and it would be obvious that if the KKK is going to get involved in politics, they're probably going to be Republican. This is the party. The KKK waves the Confederate flag. Any KKK rally you see, they got the Confederate flag there. Which party's waving that flag? It's pretty obvious where they would go. Both the party and that group are both waving the Confederate flag. And I'm talking about now in 2026, they're both doing it. They're not Democrats. It's crazy for somebody to try to convince me or anybody that the KKK is supporting Obama and Kamala Harris. To me, that's laughable. I just say it like that. That's laughable. And yeah, in the comments, I see somebody asked that question: did the KKK vote for Harris or Trump? Yeah, that's what the KKK. If the KKK is Democrats, then that means the KKK is not who they used to be either. They're now endorsing black candidates. Show me where that happened at. They're now all of a sudden they're supporting trans and all these people. The KKK got Muslim members and shit. I mean, it makes no sense. You'd have to really, really be talking to somebody who pays no attention to what's going on to convince them that the KKK and the Democrat Party are aligned together. My first question would be then, what are the modern KKK principles? If they're hanging around this group, what did they had to completely change what they stand for? They are national Christians and KKK working together in the Republican Party. Yeah, it's obvious. Like I said, they're both waving the Confederate flag, which shows you everything you need to show. Why are you resisting this? You know, I have black grandchildren and nothing holds them back. Only Democrats. I don't know what that even means. What's the Republican Party only want to talk about the point at which Abraham Lincoln's? Yeah. After the you don't hear talk to me about the Republican Party from the era of civil rights till now. You can bring up slavery, diversity from 1964 coming forward. I don't want to hear about what happened in the late 1800s. Tell me about modern times. Tell me about all the great things they've done in modern times to promote diversity and all this shit. I don't see it because the switch happened. She's using the black friend argument. That's what that was. But making it try to stick by saying she has a black family. You can have African Americans in your family and still be intolerant, bigoted, and racist. I don't feel confident around Clarence Thomas. I'm pretty sure Clarence Thomas would fit that narrative. You can be black and still have a low opinion of black people. Gangsta grandma. Charlie Kirk was MAGA celebrate. Gangsta, good evening.
Oh, you sorry. You know, you really are burnt. You know what you are tonight? You are truly a burnt buttermilk biscuit. That's our naming in the maggots now. Buttermilk biscuit, burnt ass one.
I ain't been called that since I was in elementary school.
You are. You're a buttermilk biscuit.
A burnt biscuit.
So much. You are the king of fluffy. Let me break this shit down to you. The border has never been closed and never will be closed. Biden had the best border because his numbers are better than Trump. Numbers are not going to lie. And I am so sick of hearing shit about the border. You know what I mean? We have ICE in here to unalive the innocent people. You know, America is not being great. America would never be great because they don't like black and brown people, okay? Biscuit and all you dumbass buttermilk biscuit burnt ass ones, you got. And like MLK said, the Republican Party is about the white man, and he was afraid of it. And guess what happened? It's all about the white team, people.
Yeah, my stance is going to be simple, though. That I think that Trump has done a much better job in securing the border.
Okay, let me see, and that's why he likes the uneducated. And look at him. You guys who report, when you guys report me, you're reporting Tim. You guys are reporting Tim. You're gonna make him lose his page.
They do it all the time.
I mean, get over your buttermilk biscuit hateful asses. You don't like freedom of speech? I got freedom of speech.
Whoa! I like it. Who dropped that? Thank you. Who dropped that? I'm trying to figure that out. Appreciate that.
Like, people don't understand that the border is
Twisted.
never going to be
Thank
closed.
you. Say that again.
The border is never going to be closed. It's against the Constitution. I mean, you guys really need to stop.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily that the border is closed. I think that under Trump, illegal immigration into this country is significantly less than it was under Biden.
It's really not. The numbers are down. You know what, Tim? That's why he likes the uneducated. That's why he likes the uneducated. He really does, because you guys, anything this man tells you, and you guys will jump off the damn bridge because let me get the border. No, the border is not closed. His numbers are down. Biden had better numbers for him. Biden's economy was a hell of a lot better. We was doing a hell of a lot better. And you got a pedo in your audience. Gross.
What are you talking about?
You're Darth Vader.
Oh,
your
my
friend.
God. Anyway, I think that under Trump, the border is secured more because he is a great incentive for coming here illegally. or
Tim,
he disincentivizes.
let me tell you something. They are still going through the border. They just haven't been caught. The things are down. All the 3 numbers are down at the border, Tim. So what the hell are you talking
You
about?
really believe that under Trump, people are still coming in this country illegally?
Yeah, they really are. But, you know, I don't think a lot of them are coming in because of the hateful shit and stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, who would
Right.
come to somewhere?
So
else? But
under
it's
Trump,
But Tim, but that's not good though.
I'm not arguing whether it's
Because you know
okay.
what?
Hold on. I'm not arguing whether it's good or bad. Hold on. I'm not arguing. Wait, hang on. Hold on. I'm not arguing whether it's good or bad. What I'm saying is, under Trump, less people are coming in this country illegally.
Tim, they're still coming in though. They really are. You know, the human trafficking is still going bad. You know what I mean? Come on, the shit is still bad. They busted 2 of the brothers that Donald Trump was throwing up and down. They were good people in Florida. Now come on, Tim. And you know what? That's the saddest part about you, your uneducated asses. You guys are so worried about the southern border. How about the ones that are flying in? Why aren't they getting the white tea people out of here? No, it's all about the black and brown people. And if you think, Tim, you're fucking safe here, you're not safe here.
What, Twisted.
You know what I mean?
What do you mean I'm not? What do you mean I'm not safe here? What are you talking about?
Tim, after they get done with all the undocumented immigrants, as they so-called say, who's going to be next, Tim? Who's going to be next? They did it to the Mexicans in the 1930s, legal Mexicans. They did it to United States citizens. If they could do it in the 1930s, get rid of the United States citizens and kick them back to Mexico, what makes you think? What makes you think?
What are you trying to say? You believe that Trump would try to kick out natural-born black citizens?
They already did. They did it to Mexicans. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? They did it to the Mexicans.
Wait a minute. I'm jamming, but you're telling me Mexicans that were born in this country have gotten kicked out?
Yes.
I haven't heard that.
History? In the 1930s,
I've not heard that.
It was Operation W back.
No, I think you're taking it to another level. I haven't heard Trump kicking out citizens.
Shut up. I take the go. Ask him right now. Tim,
I'm listening.
go right now and ask your little partner over there. Your little, what is it called? Your little, what is this theory? Ask him, what does the United States do to United States Mexicans?
You know, this reminds me of the time where I got into an argument with a girlfriend in the club. The music is playing and she cussing me out. Anyway, what am I supposed to ask?
I'm not bullshitting.
I think
This is
you
why you're
are.
so fucking uneducated, man.
I think you're
You
getting
guys are
some.
so fucking uneducated. They kicked out United States citizens, the Mexicans. Go Google the shit. It's fucking free. It's real. And if they can kick them out, what makes you think black people ain't next?
I don't believe Trump is trying to kick out blacks that are born in this country.
Oh my fuck. If they did it to one nationality, what makes you think
So-
they won't do it to you?
Is this something that has happened to a lot of Mexican citizens?
Google it. It was millions of. Google it. Google it.
Millions.
Google it. Google it.
Alexa.
1930s.
Oh, what the? Alexa, stop. Oh, you're talking about 1930s. I thought you were talking about something now. Alexa, stop.
Hey,
Oh my fucking god. What makes you think that? Well, you think the 1930s wasn't that long ago, you numbnut?
1930s?
1930s! They kicked out United States citizens! What are you talking about? It was Operation W back.
I'm
They
not.
kicked out, God, they kicked out the Mexicans. Yes, they did.
I'm not arguing with what happened in 1930. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying I don't think Trump is going to, in 2026, kick out citizens. Like you're comparing them to 1930.
They're doing it now. They're kicking out United States citizens out. And legal documented people. What are you talking about?
I haven't heard of them doing that.
Oh my fuck. What are you doing? They kicked out kids that was United States citizens in it. What are you talking about? They did it to the Japanese. What are you
I understand the history of this country and how dirty they were going back in the 40s and all of that stuff. Trump is talking about doing that now.
See, this is why they tell you the uneducated. He's told you what he was in the beginning. A snake is never going to change. A snake is never going to fucking change. He doesn't want us here. What are you guys talking about?
Well, first of all, the law
He
is...
even said it. He wants to make concentration camps and put people in prison. What are you guys talking about? He wants to ship so-called people that are in the penitentiary to different countries. What are you talking about? Who the fuck is in the penitentiary right the fuck now? More black people. And you guys think that is... Come on now.
I
You
don't
guys
know.
really believe that shit, that he don't think he won't kick you guys out? Okay.
I hear you, but I have a hard time believing it.
Yeah. But you know what? Like they said, shame on you. And guess what? When he does the fucking shit, you motherfuckers just be crying. Well, I didn't think he would do it. I don't think he would do it. Yeah, he's going to do it. He said he was going to build shit. He doesn't want people in the penitentiaries here. He wants to take you guys to a different country. Did he not say that? He wants criminals out of here that's in the penitentiary. Who the fuck is in the penitentiaries? I'll wait.
We the Rebel says, Gangsta Grandma, what is it going to take to get you to stop complaining?
Who's complaining?
Right.
I'm telling the fucking truth. I'm telling the fucking truth. You motherfuckers think that black people are safe here, you're not. If they could try to take away birthright citizenship, and guess who that was for? If they could try to take anything away, try and mend shit, why you don't think we're not safe?
Let me ask you, for you guys that are watching, by way of yes or no, how many of you guys agree with Gangsta Grandma? Do you think that Trump would try to get rid of African Americans that were born in this country? Yes or no? Do you think Trump is capable of trying to deport citizens of the country that happen to be black?
If they did it to the Mexicans, what makes you think you're safe? Not safe. You're safe, huh? They did it. They did it. They sure did it. I mean, people need to know history. History right now is repeating itself.
I mean, looks like most of the people are saying no, but there are some yeses.
Because ignorance is deep.
Where are they going to send the African Americans from? If we're
Where
Americans,
they send the Mexicans at, Tim? Congo? Wherever else they want to, Tim?
most Mexicans.
He told you. You know what the fucking craziest shit is? This motherfucker said he was going to send us, though, Tim. He said it. He doesn't want no criminals here. He said it. It came out of his mouth, Tim. He said it.
So what?
He wants to ship them.
So what you're saying is, as long as you don't become a criminal, you don't have nothing to worry about.
Who's criminals, Tim? That's in the penitentiary right now, Tim. He said it, Tim. I mean, I know you like the white cock that bad, Tim. You like the buttermilk biscuits that bad up your ass and everything else, Tim. But he's saying it, Tim.
No. You're making up in the comments. Evil says, I think she may be right, but it all depends. That's why they want to get the Voter Act passed. Now, the Voter Act passed, I'll agree, that is no friend to the African American community. That part I'll agree with.
Why?
They took Gangsta Grandma down, and I don't know why, other than people must have complained. Shit happens. Oh, fuck. Anyway, looking at the comments, Tim, just put the MAGA hat on. I want to you lose it, whatever. Wow. Tim, my super chat was to ask Alexa, Alexa, what was Operation Ajax?
Operation Ajax was the 1953 covert coup by the CIA, working with Britain's MI6, that toppled Iran's Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, created Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi to protect Western oil interests. Want to learn about how Operation Ajax changed Iran's relationship with the West?
No, Alexa, stop. I had never heard of that, but I knew we were responsible for their government. I knew that we had something to do. I didn't know why and all of that, but there you go. I have a hard time really accepting anybody being a terrorist or the United States or an enemy of the United States, because what we do is them. And then when they respond back, we play the victim. Like we have no idea. They just decided to start fucking like Bin Laden. Bin Laden just started fucking with us for no reason at all. I mean, yeah, we do play the victim after fucking with people a lot. Most of those terrorist groups, I mean, we're thousands of miles away. Why the hell would they be so gung-ho on this one nation? They ain't fucking with Canada. They're not threatening Mexico. Why do they keep singling us out? That's not by coincidence, because we're doing shit. But they convinced the people in America. I think George W. Bush said that on September 11th. They hate us because we're free. That has shit to do with us being free. They hate us because we're over there fucking with them. So, hey, I really hate that we go and do shit and then all of a sudden try to play like we're victim when they respond. No, what they're doing is a response to us meddling in their business, controlling their government, stealing resources. I mean, like Greenland. Now we're talking about Greenland. That would give their citizens a reason to hate us. I mean, we're constantly doing it. Trump talking about what he's doing in Cuba. I mean, we're giving them reasons to hate us. I wanted to hear this clip. This is somewhat, I think, what Gangsta Grandma was alluding to, if I can play it.
Dr. King, in light of recent statements of Senator Barry Goldwater and, in some cases, Richard Nixon, do you think there is a real danger of the Republican Party becoming the white man's party in this country?
I think this is a real danger, and I've talked with some Negro Republicans who are very concerned about this. I see trends and developments which will reveal that unless the liberals of the Republican Party take play a much more decisive role in leadership positions, this will become a white man's party. And I think this would be tragic for the Republican Party as well as tragic for the nation.
And that I often play that clip for folks who try to talk about the Republican Party as a party that's free and shit, because that's obviously a significantly more modern than Abraham Lincoln is. I mean, that is Martin Luther King in real time telling you this party is switching. That's him making it clear to you it's going on. I mean, because Martin Luther King was Republican at first. He was Republican, and here he is telling you our party is turning white. I mean, that is far more modern than any of this Abraham Lincoln freed slaves type shit. Why would he be saying if the liberals in the Republican Party don't speak up, we're at risk of going to become an all-white man's party? Obviously, there's no liberals in the Republican Party anymore. So that's another clear-cut example of a switch happened. That's what people need to hear, not this shit about what Republicans freed the slaves during Abraham Lincoln. No, this is where the switch happened at. I once seen a clip where a guy said that he could tell you, as a historian, said, I can show you in real time the day the switch happened. And he points to a situation where Martin Luther King was out protesting and he had got hemmed up. He was arrested by some Southern government. And I think it was Martin Luther King's wife, Coretta, whatever her name was, Coretta Scott King, I think it is. She reached out to the Nixon administration and asked if they could help get Martin Luther King out of jail. The Nixon administration pretty much shoved her away, pretty much, gave her the shoo away. And they ended up contacting the Kennedy administration, or they contacted Kennedy's brother, the other guy that got killed. Was it Robert Kennedy, the brother who later ran and got assassinated as well? They contacted him. He contacted his brother, and they got Martin Luther King out of jail. And it was from that moment that pastors started basically telling their congregations, we Democrats now. They were going to leave this dude in jail. We Democrats now. And from that point on, they started riding with the Democrat Party. But there is absolutely solid evidence that the party switched. This Abraham Lincoln Party of Slavery shit, KKK, back in the 1800s stuff, that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on now. Martin Luther King is where this happened. That's the era of where it happened. If you go back before Martin Luther King, most African Americans were Republicans. You go after Martin Luther King, most African Americans were Democratic. That's where your switch took place, is right there under him during his time in office. All of that other shit before that ain't got nothing to do with it. In the comments, though, conservatives almost got rid of it. I hate explaining history. 13th Amendment freed slaves, 14th Amendment gave slave citizenship, gave born citizens right. 14th Amendment almost got demolished in the Supreme Court about 2 to 4 months. And you're saying conservatives. That's another thing that needs to be mentioned in these conversations as well. Like you heard Martin Luther King say the liberals in the Republican Party. When you hear folks talking about the Republicans were the party of Lincoln and the Democrats were the party of slavery, they exclude terms like progressives, liberals, and conservatives. Because fact is, when the Republicans were working with Abraham Lincoln and freeing slaves, the Republicans were called progressives back then. They were not called conservatives. Freeing slaves is a progressive idea that goes against what the traditional founding fathers intended, which was slavery to be legal. So freeing slaves is a progressive idea. That's why you hear them say Republicans freed slaves. They don't say anything about conservatives, because conservatives were pro-slavery. The Democrats were conservatives back then. Now you see which party is considered conservatives and which party is considered liberals in modern time. I mean, the evidence of a switch is overwhelming. That's all I'm going to say. There's overwhelming evidence. The switch, just a party who flies a Confederate flag at this point. I mean, there's just overwhelming evidence of a switch. Here's something that would seem very weird. Why would all the conservative states, or better yet, the Republican states down south, or better yet, the slave states, why would all of the pro-slave states, the Bible Belt states, suddenly all of a sudden be anti-slavery? If we're going to believe Abraham Lincoln and the Republican Party freed the slaves, so we're supposed to believe all of those folks that were making tons of money off of slavery just decided we don't want it anymore. We're against it now. Like I said, there's just so much evidence to suggest that the switch happened that way. Yes, Strom Thurmond switched from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party. Yeah, I got to just look around the Civil Rights era. That's all the switching was happening right in that Civil Rights era. And it tells you everything you need to hear. But like I said, when you hear the Republican Party talking about how the Democrat Party was a party of slavery and stuff, they make sure to say nothing about that era of time where the switch happened. They don't say nothing about that. That's because that would blow their whole statement out of the water. I wouldn't mind letting Trump have 2028. At 83, you really look at Trump right now, and you believe that he's capable of being an effective president for the next 6 years? I mean, he got 2 more on his term now, and then he would have another 4. You believe he is capable of, being president up to the age of 87? I'll tell you this, I don't want to hear shit else about term limits if you're going to say something like that. I don't want to hear anything else about suggesting that people after a certain age shouldn't be able to run. If you're okay with him being president to 87, I don't think Trump will be within his right mind until he's 87. And that has nothing to do with whether I like him or not. I'm looking at Trump falling asleep all over the place. I'm looking at Trump using makeup to hide discoloration in his hands. I'm looking at Trump's ankles swelling. I'm looking at Trump's gait, how he walks, can't do it in a straight line. That dude doing another 7 years cohesively. That he may be around, but I don't think you would want him leading the country for 7 straight years. It ain't happening. That dude is not going to be able to do that for 7 straight years. It's just not happening. And that's even if you think he's doing a great job right now. It's not going to happen. He's not going to be capable. Like I said, he can barely stay awake right now. You guys are making excuses at this point for him falling asleep in public. Just begging for him not to be called Sleepy Joe Biden. You're making excuses for him falling asleep and shit. He's doing that right now. 6 more years of this? Due to be fucking a mummy by then. You'll due to be working on formaldehyde. I don't think he got 6 more years in him. And I would say that even if I thought he was the best president since sliced bread. And I agree with you, giant robot. Karma is a bitch. To make fun of Biden's cognitive health, Biden falling asleep and all of that stuff, and to have your guy who done that now start exhibiting the same signs, yeah, karma's a bitch on that. It does make him look really bad to make fun of this guy doing all this stuff, and now it's starting to happen to you. But we'll see. But yeah, 4 more years after 2028 is insane. Anyhow, y'all just mad that Biden was a one-term president. I think the Democrats are the reason he got kicked out. The Democrats are the one that forced Biden to step out. He didn't lose to Trump. He lost to George Clooney and Nancy Pelosi. Go figure. In the comments before we jump out of here, I think even our Supreme Court should have a limit. I don't know how you're going to get that, but I absolutely believe so as well. I think, look, early 70s and, 10 years in 10 years serving the government in Congress, maybe a couple terms. What is a senator? 6 years, 2 terms as a senator, 5 terms as a congressperson. Now you can go from 5 terms of Congress and then run for Senate and do 2 terms as Senate and then run for president. If you can do all of that before becoming, let's say 72, 73, I'd be okay with that. But I don't think you should be able to, like Nancy Pelosi type, where you're serving as a senator for, I think she started, a congresswoman. I think she went in the 80s. She's been a congresswoman all the way to 2026. I think they should prevent you from doing. Or like Feinstein dying in office. Mitch McConnell probably will die in office if he is not already deceased. But I don't think there's enough left of Mitch McConnell to call him anything other than probably a vegetable at this point. He's in office officially until the next person is sworn in January. I doubt if you see anything else of Mitch McConnell in terms of signing bills or anything. I mean, so he may as well not be there. They're holding him there to hold a slot, which actually leaves a lot to question with the integrity of the Republican Party. You want to talk about Biden not being there and needing to step down, but you're not saying the same about Mitch McConnell, then you're biased. You're okay with it when it works for your side. But Mitch McConnell, there should be a huge outcry on the right for that dude to either put up or shut up. If we can't see him within the next 2 weeks, he should be deemed lost in action, however you want to phrase it. But he should be deemed as unfit to serve. Like this dude's been gone since June 14th. No word from this guy since June 14th other than a photo of him happily smiling in the hospital with blue jeans on. Who the fuck sits in a hospital bed with blue jeans on? And his wife is sitting there right next to him. So, yeah, to me, either Mitch McConnell shows, becomes president, or they should you just deem him as lost. Deem him as, retire him by force to some degree. There's no way he should be able to continue doing what he's doing right now all the way to January. That just should not be allowed. So I do appreciate the 131,000. We'll do the program here as always. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be here tomorrow. Feel free to tap the screen, or better yet, follow the program. Watching us on Substack, Instagram, TikTok, or Clapper. And if you're watching us on YouTube, give your boy a sub. I'll catch you here. I'm out. Somebody said fun of the elderly. Really? Got to be crazy about that. That was